this down, and he just can't mess this up. Oh,
but oh god, we got cut off a bit too early as Cash will be going down here. He has a window that's a little bit interesting.
Over at 4-3, sorry, was actually to the chase, but nevertheless are going to be getting hit through the pallet.
Good out, but I think it was banned by Zetsubo, so we'll be seeing that today. But you're going to go for a cheeky curve on distracted, he hits it! Towards, and you think, but no, oh my god, News rotated all down to bottom side, and he gets found! Around the rock, potentially another vault there, but another fake from Cash makes it so that we can rotate around, and it's going to have to be Sizz coming in for a hit take there, allowing... Okay, this is Game 7, second half of the tiebreaker. It's all come down to this. It's down to the wire.
Good evening, OSL, and welcome to the grand final where we will be seeing Gospel versus Zetsubo. They'll be battling out after 8 hard weeks for a $1,000 prize in cold hard cash. That being said, the following contest is scheduled for a best of 7 series. Our match card tonight is as follows. Set 1 will be Blight on the Gas Haven, which is the first predetermined set of the best of 7. Set 2, which will be Dredge on Midwich Elementary, which will be Gospel's pick. Set 3, which will be Doctor on Wretched Shop, which will be Zetsubo's pick. And set 4, which will be Hilly on the Blood Lodge, which is the second predetermined set. Then it'll be set 5, which will be Spirit on Suffocation Pit 1, which is a pick of Gospel. Set 6, which is a pick of Clown on Coal Tower 1, which will be Zetsubo's pick. And finally, for the third predetermined set, there will be a Dark Lord tiebreaker on the Wrecker's Yard. As we get ready with the first match of the night, I would just like to give some backstory on who these teams are. Whether you're new to OSL or have been here a long time, these teams will make hard names to forget. So first up is Gospel, finishing at the top of Group A. They don't lose a single series. Their roster consists of Captain Nu, Addict, Gibbsy, Andrew, Cash, Nefarious, Spacey, Stasi, and Sizz. Once Havoc and Fugitives. But now their first season competing under the name Gospel. So after they did an amazing job on a rebrand, definitely one of the best teams in the region. But second up will be Zetsubo. Once was Too Savage and Source, two previously menacing teams who went on to win championship after championship back in the day. Their team consists of Captain Key, Aimer, Baki, Benny, Frozen, Geztrix, Sanji, Sen, Takara, XTap, and Zabit. They will be merging SEA with OCE essentially, so a very dangerous team. And can they keep the streak going? We'll just have to wait and see. Alongside with me tonight is Jarms. Jarms, what do you think of these teams after previously playing with the boys at Gospel but knowing just what Zetsubo is capable of?
If you remember correctly, I actually played with a few of the Zetsubo boys as well, big fella. So got a good look insight to both players from both sides tonight. Also versus Source in the past as well. It couldn't be better. You couldn't write a better script in a sense. Definitely, you could say 2 of the best 3 teams. I would argue it was two of the best 2 teams, but I know a lot of people would say 2 of the best 3. But overall, this is the finals that we have in front of us, and I'm not disappointed one bit at all, especially with all the sets that I really didn't anticipate to come out. Or funnily enough, maybe I did anticipate them and just sort of, I don't know, assumed it would be different and on the pretense that the bands would be a little bit maybe a bit more touched up, but a lot of killers getting through tonight. I'm going to see Gospel Dredge, as you said, Buller, which I'm sure Cash has been waiting for. I think the last killer game he had might have been week 4, so he's had a big rest. Is probably more renowned for his killer, so I'm excited to see what he's able to do against what I'm hearing will be against the Source lineup tonight, full confirmed from the captain himself, Key. So honestly, I'm excited. When you look at other sets as well, you're going to be seeing Sen's Blight, Addict's Blight, Gibbsy's Hillbilly, also Sen's Hillbilly, which is low-key very underrated, as well as Mr. Loops on the Clown. And also, if we get all the way to the 7th set, which if I was a betting man, and I definitely am, I would assume we would be going to see at least the best of 7 tonight, at the very bare minimum. we will see the big man Nefarious. So many players of such high skill level coming out to play. On the contrary, though, Hunter, we will see something that I believe we haven't seen all season. Again, I could be very wrong. I think we'll be seeing. Actually, no, I lie. We saw it once on Midwich, and we will see a replica of that tonight as well. On a different killer, though, we will see XTap's killer on the Dredge. So, honestly, when you put that into context, it is going to be a big night, a very, very big night. And just a quick reminder that at the end of the final series, there will be determined a finals MVP, which will essentially get the same reward that a major award received, Hunter.
Yeah, definitely. Oh my god, voice crack. Yeah, I'm definitely really excited about that. So yes, you can hear it in my voice. But sorry, I was just trying to get the teams ready up for that. What did you say just then? Sorry, I missed the memo.
Basically just reiterating the teams picking bands and how most of them got through. Both teams really got their sets, and when you sort of consider the fact that there's forced killers, obviously those being the S tier killers, the Blights, the Billies, and the Dracula, you've got literally I would go as far as say world class players on each of those killers. Sen's Blight, I would argue, is probably the best Blight I've ever seen we will ever see. I think Gibbsy's Hillbilly is also probably the best in the country, and I would back that heavily, very very heavily. Honestly, it's gonna be very very exciting. I haven't been this excited for a grand finals, let alone like a match this big in a long time, if at all. To be honest, I genuinely don't know who's going to come out on top. It is going to be genuinely, like I said, the closest grand final. I'm expecting a BO7, my G.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, just saying like they basically have every killer covered, both of these teams. So be really interesting to see what really happens in this. So now loading into this match, we're going to be seeing Sen rush all the way down from 11, all the way down to the mid-central part of the map to see if we can find any stealthing survivors. So we do see Andrew over at 1. We do see Sizz spawning over at mid-side, and then Nu just kind of like in the main building at the moment. So very stock standard stuff for the boys at Gospel to be kind of waiting out this corrupt and seeing what their next plan of action is. Probably calling out gens, calling out pallets, etc. Sen going to be rushing all the way down, trying to spot someone out. Still, we are about 30 seconds into the game, and unfortunately not having the first chase on a Blight set. This is actually really good stealth from our survivors here. He's going to be breaking the door into main now, getting this out of the way nice and early. And we did see some progress over at main now, taking the kick and the eruption proc onto that main generator, seeing a little bit of scratch marks over at this mid pallet over in main, and now doing a little bit of Sen mind games, and you'll love to see it. The V1 tech coming in and not quite getting it. Nu's going to be able to make that away without getting hit. Very well played, and now vaulting the window and wrapping around the side of main, but the door being broken has allowed him to path all the way inside of main to avoid the hit and drop down the pallet over at the car, and now he's going to be playing the check spots. Now, how long is he going to be able to delay this hit? It's only a matter of time, but can he win the ultimate 50-50? And no, he's going to be getting tagged over the pallet, running back to the outside of main now, probably utilizing the window or running towards a more favorable death location at this point in time. But we're going to be seeing Sen just getting a little bit lost in the sauce, not quite hearing where Nu's gone, and I do think he's over at 1 now around this pallet. And yes, we have spotted him out once again, pre-dropping 2 now, playing the long side of this rock here, and oh, we're just really struggling to get this first down at the moment. This chase is going for a little too long, but do remember that even though Sen has rough starts on the Blight sets in particular, his mid to late game is just insane and unmatched. So although that was a little bit on the long side in terms of chases jumps, he definitely has the chance to pull this game back in the mid-term events.
Yeah, that double getting sorted out real quick as well. That means that Delhi's most likely going to be able to stealth off that, as I would presume that Delhi would be on that double gen. So we do see Sizz back to main with the DS build there, which is very, very interesting. Not something I've seen him actually, being able to, represent in a sense. He's normally at the Delhi builds or, the really stealthy builds. But that's good to see that he's stepping up tonight and sort of, I guess, admitting that his Blight chase may not be 100% good to go, but honestly, he's going to give it a red hot crack. That's what honestly that tells me. And I think, like you said, the first down was short. I think the fact that DS wasn't chased is not going to be an issue. And honestly, I think they might just let him sit, and they are going to let him sit. Sen's playing very, very territorial right now. Doesn't really want to go anywhere. Doesn't want to use the rushes, as he probably shouldn't. But the issue is that, like you said, Hunter, that first down was very, very, very sort of late into the game, late into that corrupt even. So we do see Cash jumping in. From the bottom side, he's just going to get it for free as well. So a couple things going wrong for Sen really early on. We do have Babysitter onto Nuisance there. He's going to make all the way to Shaq for free. We missed the tag onto Johnny. So very, very hesitant plays coming out from Sen. This is very, very interesting. I've never really seen the big man get a bit nervous. Maybe a bit of, yeah, like I said, nerves showing through there. We are going to play the check spots on this filler is Cash, and Cash really needs to perform here. Does have the med kit in his hand, so not going to leave that chase to Sen. We are going to commit, and maybe Sen taking a different approach to this game. Maybe going for the wear and tear playstyle, Hunter.
Maybe, which will be really out of the ordinary, but now taking this hook onto Cash, if you did notice in the background, Jams, I'm not too sure if anybody else did, but I do believe that Noob was our Deli player, even though Cash has medkit in hand, which is just really unfortunate for the side of Gospel. And yes, it does seem to be that Noob was our Deli. That is Deli not in the game. That could make for a really dire situation later on in the trial, but now taking the kick on into main and trying to go on Gen Patrol a little bit more is Sen, and now just finding Andrew just kind of over at one, camping this pallet. I think he was trying to get on the generator and try and work that underneath Sen's nose, but a little too smart for Sen here. He's going to be now taking the tag onto Andrew and now committing this chase all the way down to 3. This could be a quick down if he's able to get this quick flick around the car tile onto Andrew, and he is, and Andrew will now be going down, and that will be the eruption proc onto main. Cash still on hook, so, and Noo's injured at the moment, so I don't imagine that he would be going for this. It'd be really risky if he did. And we do spot out Sizz, who has managed to go for the unhook, and like clockwork, like I just said, yeah, it would be really dire if that was the injured for Survivor. So now we're going to be taking this tag onto Sizz, who'll be going all the way down to the 5 side of the map and trying to play this pallet, and Sen trying to mind game it and try to get him on the correct side of the pallet, but Sizz is just playing that absolutely beautifully and being able to skate away from that, even though getting hit earlier on after getting that unhook. Nevertheless, Sen will now be going all the way back down to main to try and slow down the game a little bit, go back on his gens, make sure that everybody is off them. He knows the gens that are being worked. He knows where the survivors are at the moment, so he's got a lot of info. He is in a little bit of a box position, but the survivors definitely have the... I didn't notice that somebody was over at 6, but he is definitely in a position to kind of... he is a little bit of a power position, if you will, at the moment. So, but yeah, the survivors definitely can pull this back and kind of work their ways accordingly, Jams.
Yeah, Sizz making me eat my words after that. For me saying he might not be as confident on the Blight sets, mechanically speaking. Literally just lived there and actually quite literally saved the game. Retrospect for Gospel, because that could have been very bad. He's going to get AK-47 through that window, long barrel. Bit of a stiff hit to take, I won't lie. So we are going to take the chase down to 600, and if we all remember, this is the DS, so Sen might have to be a bit wary. He might get sluggy on a full sorry, Big Sizz is going to win that 50 on that pallet as well, so big stuff there. I don't know why I keep saying Sen, probably because he's playing killer. Sizz there is actually playing out of his actual mind. That's 2 big 50 wins, and Andrew's sort of running into the killer mind, trying to take that BT hit, and I think Sen knows a bit better than that. Knew as well was going to get caught around that pallet, so we're taking a few extra tags on the side here of Gospel. Maybe worth it in the end. I haven't seen Sizz reset yet. Might just stick some gens down bottom with Cash, I believe, if this is not Cash here at main, which I believe this is Cash at main. He does have the SB up ready to go. Does make that back main filler as well, so time for Cash to shine, get a chase in, and I believe we will see Sen commit this, as I do believe he is playing for that sort of fresh hook approach, getting those 4 freshes in, making sure that even if he does get outed, it still will be a good result and giving his survivors still a chance to be able to perform. Johnny almost getting caught out there, somehow not getting caught. Does drop it from the right side this time. Is going to vault, just holding the checkies there. Sen really walking around, does finally... Ooh, 3 extra rushes there onto Sen. That would have been detrimental if he was on 2 rushes. But that is going to be the 4th fresh onto the side of Gospel survivors. So, honestly, not a bad start for Sen overall, Hunter, to be honest. I believe I'm wrong, actually. I think that's only the 3rd fresh. But either or, still a very good start for Sen. Very, very good start.
It's third fresh, it's fourth stage, but like the survivors have done a really good job at putting Sen in a position where he kind of has to chase the fresh hook at this point. So very well played to them, and now Sen's going to opt to leave that. And yeah, just really unfortunate for Johnny not being able to get the spin over at 11, the flare, and then just kind of getting caught out at that tile over at 10. But he did manage to break away from where Sen was just really sitting around and try to get him away from the generators. But now Sen's just got this hook behind main, and he's just able to really just kind of, yeah, once again, patrol the area. And at this point, it's really anybody's game. We're at the infamous 2 gens remaining, 4 stages on the board. So if you really don't know, this is pretty much a mid-game scenario, a typical mid-game scenario where it could really go either way. But at the moment, the survivors are playing really well, having the double on the generator over at the far side of the map. Now seeing Andrew going to be utilizing Light to get this pull nice and early. It's going to be working out in his favor. And now is Sen going to go for the timeout, or is he going to go, maybe he's just going to get this tag and go back from Cash over at 11, or no, he's going to opt to chase this on the side of Andrew. And we don't have, we have Eruption procced on the middle of the generator, sorry, but we don't have anybody anywhere else. So we're going to be getting that generator over at the back corner done over at 6, and now we have this little 3 gen over at main 1 and 3, and this has proved to been really bad 3 gen time and time again throughout the whole season on a Blight set. And once Sen gets his 3 gen, he doesn't usually let it go, so it'll be really interesting to see how a team like Gospel tries to play this. Oh my god! The grand final expertise. This is absolutely crazy. You do see a little bit of a nasty flick there onto Sizz around that little trash loop there. So now being, this is a really bad hook as well. That's in between the 3 gen jams.
I mean, he's pulling it back. He's going punch for punch right now with Gospel, which is what you love to see. My prediction before this game would have been a 4K1. I'm going to hold on that just for now because I do... sorry, my prediction for this game would have been out. I think it's going to be a 4K1 now. I'm going to hold on the 4K1. So I'm going to hold on the result of them getting out. I do believe in Gospel. But my god, it could go either way. It could be really anything. It just really depends on this next chase. Andrew's been slugged for a long time too somewhere. I don't think Sen actually knows really whereabouts where. He does see scratch marks back 11 as well. Andrew's actually all the way at 10 here. So we are going to pick him up as new, and we're really not resetting a lot. And New's going to get straight back in the chase. No, Andrew, sorry, is going to get straight back in the chase. Just going to get forced down, and I believe this will be picked up by Sen. It will be. Also noteworthy to mention, I think this is his 2nd time running Call LeBron, so maybe did some extra scrims during the week with Cobb in the back pocket, and obviously fancied it a bit maybe after the recent buff and the update. But nevertheless, that will be his 6th hook onto the Gospel Survivors. So, like I said, mid-game scenario... like you said, Hunter, very, very typical standard stuff right now. We do see scratch marks here. A couple of missed rushes from Sen here as well, which is not something you really see, at least mechanically, from him. He's usually very confident on the mechanics side, bump logic, this and that. So maybe a little bit shaky, as I said, but maybe also Gospel is showing some nerves as well. I feel like for a Blight set, they wouldn't really be happy with how many stages they've given up, and Andrew just getting jiggied on around the corner. Jiggy intending that he is not going to leave that tile and going to get pissed on instead. Hunter, Jesus Christ, he's got the mechanics locked today.
He was broken for a second. Now, we're not sure that was the renewal player coming off the hook, mate. I'm just like, yeah, that's really unfortunate. And it did come in, but no, definitely. I didn't manage to quite catch on to that until a little bit later on when I realized that he was in the mending state. But now going to be taking this hook onto Andrew, and that will be him out of the game. And yeah, just Sen's ability to pressure the survivors into making these crucial errors is just really showing and being brought to light at the moment. So if you've taken notice, like, where he really needs to get down is like when he was trying to stop the reset over around that 10 to 11 area. He's just able to capitalize on that because of his mechanical skill, and just like he's just not missing rushes, he's not getting flared. So all in all, you know, he's always in the correct position that he needs to be. And now taking this chase onto Nu over this car pallet over in the middle of the map, and we're just vaulting into him, unfortunately getting tagged, and now running all the way back down to the bottom side of the map. But that's not where we want to be if we're Sen at the moment. We want to be all around this 3 gen. And just to touch on your point a little bit with Call O'Brien being brought into the trial here, Jums, I do think Sen's brought it for a little bit of map knowledge at the moment, knowing that it's a little bit of an aura perk, not necessarily an aura perk. I don't know really what you'd call that, an instinct one, if you will, where the bubble happens. When skill, I think it's skill checkers. I'd really need to learn what Caller Brian does because I haven't seen it in the meta for so long. But nevertheless, we're going to be taking these mind games onto Sizz here over at this car pallet. Sen really needs this down, and he just can't mess this up. Oh, no, that was time. As well. We really needed that eruption proc. We're going to go all the way back down to main, and now the game is flipped on its head. That is absolutely crazy. We're running out of kicks on this generator as well. My God, what's the next point of action? What do you do when you're Sen right now? You really need to... There's no way he's just sitting around the Bridgestone tires outside of main. This is absolutely crazy from the side of Gospel. My God.
Those Bridgestones are getting work, big fella. That was a crazy dead hard. And Johnny's stealthing has been fucking brilliant. That is what you need. That is how you perform on the sets, ladies and gentlemen. And we do see Sen come right back down the hill, right back down the lane, if you will, and just stuff it right into Syzygy's face. I meant that in a basketball terminology, so please don't get that twisted. But we're going to take a chase straight onto Nu, and Nu's going to take a tag here as well. So that reset sort of coming in for nothing, but I fear Sen might be getting a bit anxious here. He's going straight back to main. He does not give two pisses that it's going to pop. Oh, Hunter, it's going to pop. Johnny's going to stick it. He misses the rush around the gen. Johnny's going to take the chase straight onto main as well. This is big for the Gospel Survivors. I'm lucky that I said they're going to get these outs, mate, because I tell you what, I do believe Johnny just forcing the pull straight up as well. Can we get the Survivor cam? Sen doesn't want any beat of it. He wants to go straight for as many results as possible. He's got 3 Survivors injured. Nu's going down as well now, so Syzygy's just going to have to take the outs here. I'm not too sure what Cash is going to do. This is a big point in the game as well, so Nu's left Slug as well. He might just be able to crawl out if Sen makes a misplay, perhaps.
What does J Cash do at a point in time like this? He's being blocked off from the exit gate at the moment, and we know Sen's not going to allow him to just cross there easily. He does hear him in the process, and he is the sprint burst in hand. I don't know if Sen will remember that. Maybe he does, but not utilizing the rushes and just trying to walk Cash down as soon as possible. We do see Sizz still kind of at the exit gate, not really able to do much, and we know that Nu's crawling more and more towards the shack at the moment as well, trying to get that patch play going if he can, but I don't know if he'll have time to. We see the firecracker down. Oh wait, J Cash is the unbreakable player at this point. Wait, does he get him in time? Hold on.
Johnny, cement it.
Nah. Oh my!
Johnny, one jiggy. No. But you know what that means, though? That means Nu's going to crawl closer to the gate as well, and he honestly might make Sen panic a little bit here. He's going to wait.
I think
he's going to be a snake in the grass. He might have seen him. I'd say, yeah, he's going to be able to hook on top of him. So, all in all, I think that'll be 10 stages for Fresh Hunter. That is not a bad game. We haven't spotted Nu out just yet. He's going to wait on the hatch just to be 1000% safe. Nu is playing a little bit cheeky right now. He's using the audio from the hook sacrifice to sort of just make his way past Sen here. Sen hasn't noticed him.
Did he shut the hatch?
He did shut the hatch.
Oh, he did. I didn't see it. Okay.
Sen's going to use all his rushes to go 6 as well. He's back, man. Can we swap to Nu, please? Oh my God.
Why does he not just camp the gate?
I'm getting flashbacks.
He camps the gate. He wins this. Oh no, well, not wins this, but you know, he gets a better result. Oh, he does see him in the background. Oh, there's no way. I was like, there's no way he doesn't go back to the exit gate to just kind of patrol it. But nevertheless, we do see him take the pick onto Nu, and now on his shoulder is going to be taking that last hook into the trial. And yes, that will be 10 stages for Fresh. So very well played to the survivors at Gospel, and still very well played to Sen. I don't think anybody had outed his Blight this whole season. So very interesting stuff, very good stuff to see, you know, there is hope. And welcome back everyone to the second half of the first set, the Blight set, where we just saw a phenomenal game of 10 stages for Fresh on the side of Sen's Blight, or the side of Gospel Survivors, my God. So we're going to see if they can get 11 stages, the next killer, which will be Addict on the Blight for Gospel. So definitely doable for Addict, 100%. But with a team like Key, Stract, Baki, and Sen, it's going to be a challenge. It's not going to be as easy as getting, the 4K1, 4K2. These guys are known for getting outs against the Blight in particular. So now we're finding the first chase a lot quicker than we did last game, and now slapping that pallet into our killer's face I do believe that is key on the Claudette. Now going to be taking this chase all the way down to the edge map 3 tile, and now slapping another pallet into his face, if you don't mind. We don't want to waste too many resources here, but we are avoiding a tag, which is very nice. We can only hope that the survivors have rotated to the top side, to the bottom side to be getting those generators done. Now Key actually vaulting into the killer. That's not good at the moment. Dwight and his happy hat running all the way down to the generators. We do see some gen progress in the background. We're going to have a little bit of a juicer chase if we are to kind of facilitate for this gen pressure at the moment. Now running around the long side of this filler pallet over at 12. Are we going to be vaulting it? No, and winning that 50 is key. Very nicely played. And unfortunately, over at this one tile, we only have matchsticks to deal with. So we're going to be opting to die a little bit further in the corner to kind of delay the hit, delay the down a little bit longer, and try and get him as far away as possible from the generators. And are we going to slug or are we going to pick? No, we're going to opt to pick now. Interesting that we're facing the generators as well. Okay, so if we're in the pubs, we get a little bit of a flashlight save there, but nevertheless, we're definitely not going to be doing that in a competitive match. Now we're going to opt to go all the way down into the main building, and now we're going to be breaking this door and try to get a proc of eruption onto this generator over in the main side. We do see two other generators. I think we're 3-splitting here, Jams, from what I saw. Correct me if I'm wrong.
Yeah, that was someone on main, someone down on 9 side, and a bloke. Not sure what the last bloke was. I think he was down 6, but yeah, me and myself and Key had a couple conversations during the week, and he said to me he's not really bothered about putting any formation on, like of players on. He will put anyone on that is playing well, and putting himself in this lineup is very noble, and I really respect it. And he had a really, really solid chase there, dying corner as well, which is something you can really respect. Addict actually bumping 3 or 4 times on that inside that pallet. He does see 9 pop in the distance. Probably doesn't care too much about it, as he starts got a 3 gen that he's eyeing off. I think he does actually have good gens bottom, and does go for the M1 swing onto Key, and Key's just going to blind him. That is Champion of Light, 20% hindrance coming out. So that's going to be a slow rushes onto the bro Addict there, and this might just Key the chance to make Shaq. No, he doesn't, which that could have been a very, very game-changing play there, but that's going to be Key getting picked up there, and no DS coming out, so I don't believe Kiki Keyboard is going to be DS, but that was 2 pretty average, decent chases. I'd say pretty decent. I mean, average as in like pretty good. So yeah, well played to Key there. The gen progress in the background, I'm sure is looking a bit better than what the numbers believe it to say. Yeah, we do have a main on 70, about 80. Backy's on a gen with 60, and I believe Strax is pre-stealthing off his gen, which is also 50. So you've got 3 blokes on 3 different gens, all above 50. Addict's not going to either one of them. It's kind of a bit scary when you look at the scenario long game for Gospel here, but I don't think they were really too bothered going into the Blight set in general, just maybe from knowing them personally. Obviously wanting to win every set, as obviously wanting to 4-0 if they can, clean sweep. But I think they had definitely had their priorities in other places. With that being said, though, the downs weren't too long. He still has a chance to salvage this. We will see 2 gens pop for Key's death, though, which is the issue. We aren't going to see the 2nd gen pop. Strax actually choosing to come and just pull Key with Unbreak Babysitter Hunter, which a lot of people pretty much despise the combination. After the recent buffer got as well, I kind of do too, I won't be like. He does make the main there for there, so not showing its full effect in that chase, and that will be Key out of this trial straight away as well. So 2 quick downs is going to result in Addict actually being able to sort of provide his team maybe the 10 stages he's after, because remember, he does not have to 4K necessarily, but he does have to get the next best thing, which is 11 stages.
Yeah, definitely. And now, well, like you said, he doesn't have to 4K. He does only have to get 11 stages, but he's in a better position to 4K at the moment. As we saw through Sen's gameplay, he had so many freshers by the time 2 gens hit. I think he had something like 3 freshers. We have a tunnel out. So it's a 3v1 at 2 generators remaining at this point in time. And now we opted to find Stract as well, who is injured. We have 2 injured on the board as well. So it's just going to be really hard for the survivors to pull this back. We really needed Key to go on a little bit more of a better chase over at the main side. I know a lot easier said than done, but unfortunately, we're going to be seeing Strax go down now and the eruption proc in the background. So the game is definitely in the hands of Gospel at the moment. Addict is just playing out of his mind to try and match this, and now he's going to be taking the hook all the way down into the basement. Very interesting choice. I'm not too sure what the method is behind this. We don't have Wretched Fate in the trial anymore. Okay, so Sen doesn't have the debuff, so I'm going to opt to go all the way down to the generators that are being worked at the moment. We do see, I do believe that is Sen working over at this mid-4 generator. Now going to be taking the kick onto that and applying Eruption as well. Now we're just going to try to protect the hook over at Shaq. We're going to bounce in between this 4 generator and towards all the generators are in a line. I didn't notice that. So there is 4, there is 5, there is Shaq, and there is 7. This is dire at the moment. So that was like a really good hook to be getting. Nevertheless, going to be seeing the unhook happen, and we do see someone stuck in the basement over down there. But we're going to opt to chase Strack. We're going to try and tell him out of the game to make it even harder for the survivors at the moment. He's going to be taking the chase all the way down to the 11th side of the map and going down. And the eruption proc in the background is not going to allow 5 to pop, or 4 to pop. Sorry. Going to be taking this pick as well, and yeah, this is looking extremely dicey at the moment.
Yeah, I mean, Addict sort of, I feel like he's just sort of turned the pace a little bit. Noticed the 4-gen in the back pocket that he had from the start of the game, so that's why he sort of wasn't too reluctant to play safe. He used 5 rushes at the start of the game on the edge map filler versus Key, which I thought was a bit interesting, but just says to me that he's honestly trying to play safe. He doesn't need to play out anything crazy. He doesn't need to play flashy, which is no disrespect to him. I think he would take this as a compliment. Pretty, mostly what he's known for. He's known for the flashy Blight plays, known for being a good Wesker as well. Just pretty much any killer mechanically, Addict is very good at. We are going to swing straight through that pallet onto Stract as well. And we are, like you said, Hunter, we do have the Wretched Fate. Actually, no, it's not in the trial anymore. So Sen's debuff is not actually there for the time being, or for the remainder of the trial at all. But we do actually lose Stract a little bit. He is going to just jiggy straight back to the tile. We are able to catch up. That is 3 rushes used. We're going to have to convert on this last rush, which we do. Stract is going to go down. Actually, quite a big play in the game retrospective, because that 5th rush could have actually provided him to make main, maybe. And then if he makes main, maybe they pop both gens. I'm not sure if they're doubling right now. That is Strack's death. They aren't doubling. They are splitting. So one of these gens will pop. Now, just a reminder, he doesn't have to 4K. He just has to get 11 stages. As you said, Hunter, it is looking very, very... the word I would use is enticing right now. He definitely is going to achieve this. Not sure how that doesn't it. Through sprint burst, through Backy there. Very predictable, actually. Having Backy on sprint burst, that is. We are going to see that gen in the background pop, like I said. And this is where it gets a bit situational now. What do? Do you commit to Backy, who's all the way at main, or do you go back to the Shaq gen, which is kind of high right now? I believe it was at like 80 or 90, I believe, Hunter. Maybe a little bit less than that. But Backy does have these fillers main, and Sen's choosing to, Addict's choosing to rush on these fillers as well. Sorry, I apologize. The gen's at about 60. So if we could see Sen maybe stealthier, I just feel like maybe it's still just a bit too unrealistic, because those gens are so close together, Hunter.
They are, and yes, he was just chasing. Remember, we still got Deli in the game as well at the moment, and I hope that's not coming through stream, but it probably is. Mike has joined the call. Nevertheless, we're going to be taking this kick onto the middle of Shaq and go all the way back on Gen Patrol. So very smart from Addict. He does have 2 injuries on the board. And I was going to say, yeah, we have Backy and we have Sen, 2 very good survivors left in the trial. If there's anyone to try and pull this back, it's definitely them 2. But they would need to get 1 gen procced at the moment and just try to get at least 1 fresh out the door if they are to win this. So, yeah, it's just, I think they're going to try and opt to go for a little bit of a reset. I don't see a world where they try and power through these generators with Addict just kind of lurking around them to see if he can find out any of the injured survivors at the moment. So yeah, the smart thing would be to do is to reset at this point in time. But we've seen the scratch marks onto Backy, and we're going to opt to go for the aggressive chase onto him. Winning the 50 on that is Backy, and now trying to utilize all of his rushes to get the flick onto Backy is Addict, and just missing it by the skin of his teeth. And now Addict is going to go all the way down to back to his generators at the moment, so he's just really struggling even to get this last tag onto these boys, the last down, if you will. They're playing this really well, but unfortunately Sen's not going to be able to do it any longer. He's going to opt to die all the way down into the edge map 9, so that'll be his hook, and he is not the Delhi player. And you have Backy now at the moment, and he is injured. and Sen's going to be cooked in the middle of the 3-gen. I'm pretty sure we can just call this 4K1 at this point in time. Once again, I really don't see a world where Baki kind of pulls this back, unfortunately.
I think it needs to be noted, this is an impressive result from Addict. Very, very impressive. I don't mean to overshare, but I know his commitment to the game hasn't really been always there. So I'm very, very pleased to see that he's actually putting on. He's as it stands right now, he is Gospel's best player, which is funny because we've only had one set, of course. But very, very well played. That is. I don't want to use the word unexpected because I would never downplay Addict like that, but you just feel like when Sen plays Blight against a team, you just feel like he's very, very hard to beat, and you don't really take in contention what the survivor lineup is because he's just that good at Blight. We are going to get the pull on to Sen. Baki is still Delhi, by the way, and Sen just going to take that hit and maybe run down 5. He's staying at Shack, so doesn't really have anywhere to go, and like you said, Hunter, it's probably just GG. This is Delhi on Baki, so again, prolonging the game as long as they can. I don't really know if it means anything. Probably not. We are going to convert onto that hit around Baki there. Like I said, this is going to be Deliverance. So Addict might choose to just... He's dropping Baki, which I dare say might be a comm coming in from a behind the scenes, maybe a Cash or an Andrew in the ear of Addict there, telling him drop. That's definitely Delhi. It's Baki. He's definitely Delhi SB.
Maybe I could just picture him saying it, but nevertheless, we'll be going back onto Sen now, who has got the pickup onto Baki as well, and now trying to bait out the dead.
Oh, far out!
Nice! Okay, well, if only that put us on the map for just something to be done at the moment, but the game is so stagnant. I don't imagine Baki would be on any generator over at the backside of 5, but that was like a really nice dead hard nevertheless, and now Addict going to be going for some clean flicks to kind of redeem himself in that regard, but Sen's just going to be playing the check spots really well, and now utilizing the window over to the edge map 9. Now trying to rotate around the corners and try to block all the rushes and getting the flare as well. Settle down, Sen. You played out of your mind, but nevertheless, we're going to be going back to the Gen Patrol at the moment. So even with limited kicks at this point, it is still holdable for Addict. I don't think he's really taken too many kicks onto these generators if we have been counting, and we're not too smashed in the trial. But nevertheless, we're going to be going all the way down into these two cars with the pallet in between outside of main and getting that slapped in front of our face. And now Addict's going to opt to break those. And I think he's just going to play a little bit more safe and go back to the generators as opposed to going for a chase around Baki at main, where he can potentially lose the game entirely, and just really struggling to down Sen at the moment. So for what it's worth, these boys are playing really well, considering there's only two survivors remaining in the trial jumps. I think these are the kind of chases and the kind of plays that we needed happening in the start of the game, though.
The issue is with Sen, he's just that good that when he puts the DS build on, no one's going to chase him anyway, so it negates the build. We are seeing Baki actually not going to choose to cross back over, so this will mean that the boys are going to probably reset top. And Addict is going all the way to his gen, so they will have a lot of time to do this now. I don't think any gen has any progress at all. Addict going to go around and just kick every single gen that he has. Sen they're not choosing to reset. Very interesting. So I'm not too sure what the play was there. Sen almost getting that crouch take off, not being able to. So maybe they're just choosing to go for a Baki hatch play for that 9 stage. Because if you do remember, that would actually be the win for Zetsubo if Baki gets out fresh here. Now, in comparison, that would be a robbery. I think a lot of us would agree if somehow, some way, Baki does get an exit gate escape or even a hatch escape here. That would be dead set, as I said, a daylight robbery. Addict would have to call his local police station for that, because yeah, I'm not too sure how we've let someone get away. But again, let's not get ahead of ourselves. We'll wait till we get to that point. We are just going to wait in our downtime while Sen is on the hook, sort of just waiting out. I do believe you're not allowed to, it's more a fact that you can't actually die on the hook anymore. I didn't even know that was a real thing. I thought that was a joke on Twitter, genuinely, but you actually can't kill yourself anymore on the hook, which is very interesting. So we'll make the process in endgame a little bit longer. That being said, he is about to die on the hook. Backy's just teabagging, denying those crows. I think Addict's number-wise, though. I think Addict's going to choose to sit. I'm not too sure what Backy's plays. I know he's got a gate right next to him. I'm obviously not silly, but I feel like it's just not possible. I feel like... Does he get it? Where does Addict goes 11? He looks 11, he looks 6. He doesn't see because the bubble on 6. He's rushing 11. If he chooses to look 11, he's... Oh my fucking god, Backy's out. Backy's out. That's rushes used. Zetsubo are going to be your set 1 winners, ladies and gentlemen. Go back to Backy, go back to...
No, he loses on gens.
Does he?
Yeah, because there was 4 generators done in the trial, not 5. Yeah.
Anyway.
It did in the old point system. That would have definitely meant a lot, but unfortunately for Zetsubo, that will be Gospel taking the set. Very well deserved, definitely, on the Blight set, where we thought Sen would actually take that home. I can't lie. I mean... And welcome back, everyone, to the Dredge set, where we'll be seeing Cash first up on the Dredge. I wouldn't have guessed that. Definitely not. No, with pick like Dredge on the side of Gospel, you definitely expect someone like Cash to play it. 4K2s all around, season round. So he's up against the X-Source lineup, if you will. On the side of Zetsubo these days, it will be Benny, Gestrick, Sanji, and Stract. On the Survivor side, my god, I feel like I'm having flashbacks to, back in the day a year ago. But nevertheless, on the desk with me now is a new friend. It is Smonk. Smonk, would you like to enlighten the class on why you are late today, good sir?
Oh, buddy, sorry I'm late. It's good to be here, but I had some IRL plans that were supposed to be at 2. They got pushed to 4. I missed my train, so I was here a little bit late. But I'm here now. I'm ready. I watched the first half of the Blight set, and we've got some incredible games straight up. And already, after a banging start on the Dredge set, we have Cash playing the Dredge for Gospel. It is their pick. We have the cheeky back pocket pick of Dragon's Grip, which is deadly on the Dredge, but we find a Killer Instinct straight off the bat, and we do find Gestrick straight away, rolling down to probably the God Palace, trying to make that first hit take as long as humanly possible. Looking at the add-ons, we do have the Broken Doll for 20 seconds longer Nightfall, as well as the Field Recorder, which will be that Nightfall at the start we're seeing now, as well as the end game. In addition, also, if you do eat the Remnant, you are exhausted, but there's not really any exhaustion perks. But we're doing a very long hold there on the Remnant, taking chase on the Gestrix, still trying to force out M1. Cash playing very patiently, going to successfully get that M1 onto Gestrix now. It is worth noting that this is the source lineup, so Cash being from WA, this entire Survivor lineup being from SCA, there is not really too much of a pinging disadvantage. Whereas if we did see instead, since it was OC lineup, we'd be seeing a significant ping disadvantage, but we see a relatively early down coming through onto Gestrix, still about 10 seconds of Nightfall left in play, minimal gen progress being made, and at 2 different locations at the very minimum, so at least we're spreading pressure there. But with the first shot coming through, we have a really strong start for Cash, and this season, Dredge has averaged that 4K1 result, so I expect to see a similar result against a lineup like this, probably that 4K1. If Cash is playing out of his mind, we might even see a 4K2 Hunter.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, it's very early days at the moment. Anything can happen. And now with this kick being taken onto the bottom 6, we're going to be following the scratch marks. We saw the Survivor rotating around the corner, and I do believe that might have been frozen if my eyesight serves me correctly, which sometimes it doesn't. Nevertheless, we'll be taking the teleportation all the way back down to the bottom 1, where we'll be seeing the Survivors rotate all the way up to the top 1 side, looking for our tunnel out Gestrix at the moment, and he's going to be hauling us all the way down to bottom 5. We'll be pre-dropping that God Palette, and we'll be going for a cheeky little mind game, is what I presume. And we're going to be greeding it. Oh, the audacity of this man to greed that palette and go all the way into the bottom 5, which only leads me to believe that the generators are on the other side of the map being worked, and now I'm going to opt to still chase this and just hold our Remnant, not teleporting, kind of not anticipating it on the side of Cash. Nevertheless, we're going to be still taking this chase. Gestrix slapping that pallet in Cash's face at the moment, going all the way back down to the God pallet. I don't think he's going to be greeting it this time. I just think he's going to be dropping that instantly, and the break coming in as well. No mind games at the God pallet today, unfortunately. Now, Gestrix going to be rotating all the way down to the courtyard side, where he'll be trying to build Cash a house, but I don't think that's going to be happening anytime soon. I'm going to be playing a little bit of a check spot mind game, pre-dropping the pallet, not working out in our favor. We end up on the wrong side of the pallet, and now we are going to be hooked, where we see the second generator over in the trial. Rock in the background, now taking this hook onto Gestrix, and we're going to be following the scratch marks all the way down to bottom 9, maybe no, just taking the kick onto 6 and going all the way upstairs against Swamp.
Yeah, Gestrix with an incredibly ballsy play there, creating that God Filler and then rotating around through some of those side rooms and then coming back to it later. The balls on this man are big, but he's also one hook closer to death. Look, we have generators slowly being worked in the back, and we found Sanji here. everyone's poor. Sanji seems to just be a bit cautious, seeing if Cash is going to commit or not, but no, he's choosing not to come out of that locker and just sort of staring down Cheryl, waiting for people to come through, maybe just charging up his Nightfall. We are about to have Nightfall. We're right next to the hook as it comes through, so we will be able to take the chase on the guest restriction mid-Nightfall, which is going to be a huge power boost to us, while the generator behind us is slowly regressing due to the pop goes the Whistle, and if we're able to force a 1v3 at 3 gens, that's going to be huge for us. But we have this tile here. This is a relatively rare spawn. I don't see this a ton on Midwich, but it is incredibly strong loop. This is basically just another god palette, all things considered, but with that Remnant zoning coming through, very juicy, but Frozen going to be taking a tag there for Gastrix as he's able to rotate away towards this area of the map, but I don't think he has a ton to work with. He's used all of his god palettes up, and we're going for a bit of a TP cut off there, and it does work out in our favor, forcing Gastrix to rotate back through towards this doorway where we don't have any resource here. This is a dead classroom, but it does connect to another filler pallet if we're able to play, but it's already been dropped on his head, and with a little bit of a tag there, we're going to be able to get it down, and a little bit of ore reading from Eruption. We do see someone working the gen above us, but we're not opting to teleport up there for a tag. Instead, we're just playing it super safe and taking our kill, and then rotating up to that generator that we know someone is working on. We also have Nightfall access, so we get a bit of killer instinct there. We are committing that generator just a little bit, and we get a free tag onto Strack, not quite paying attention to where Cash is coming from. That gen's high progress, mate. You might want to kick it, but unfortunately, missing our teleport, we're going to be zoning away from Strack there, but unfortunately, due to the missed TP, we won't be able to get a quick down onto Strack. If he was able to hit that TP correctly on that locker, we would have seen an incredibly fast down, but we're going to be taking our Pop Goes Whistle Eruption charge. That will also apply Dragon Squib, which is only really dangerous to Sanji, but we do find someone injured here. This is Frozen working this generator, luckily applying our eruption on this gen 2. Dragon Scope does thankfully at minimum give us information on injured survivors, as we will be able to hear them scream when they get onto it, but we see no one working on gens at the moment. Looks like we're trying to group up for a bit of a heal. Sanji rotating towards some of the generators, trying to find anything that's high progress. We're going to be taking chase of the Frozen. Sanji triggering the Dragon Scope. He is healthy, but a hit to the pallet. That's a catch moment if I've ever seen it, Hunter.
Cheeky, cheeky, cheeky. Yes, I think they were trying to get a little bit of a reset going since they were just out of Nightfall, so it would have been definitely the time to do it. But yeah, we're just kind of stagnant at the moment, unfortunately. We do have one dead at 2 generators remaining in the trial. Now, the 4th hook of the trial, the 2nd fresh coming in hot. Frozen just going to be at this hook over at 1. And now Cash is going to opt to go on a little bit of gen patrol at the moment to see who's working on what, where they are at the moment. He has a rough idea, and he is in the box seat getting that tunnel out so early in the game. So now we're going to be getting the unhook onto our survivor there, which will be Sanji. Now, Sanji is going to opt to go all the way down to... I think he's just hiding around that table there, maybe, and I think Cash has noticed it. No, we just getting a little bit debated by the scratch marks there. He's all the way up in top 3. Okay, so we've been bamboozled. Nevertheless, we're going to be taking the teleport all the way down to, I do believe this is top 10, and now vaulting the window and trying to see, yes, where our next chase will be at the moment, and we do find a decently progressed generator at the moment, maybe around the 40% mark, and I do believe that would have been one of the injured survivors working that, if I do recall seeing that correctly. Nevertheless, taking the chase onto Stract now, who, Stract, who will be running all the way down to where this God pallet 11 has been dropped, and now Cash going to try and cut him off through the lockers, but fortunately for the survivors on Zetsubo, that was locked up in top 11, and now he's going to opt to go all the way down to all the way up to top 3, where we'll be spotting out our Cheryl again. Kind of hard to tell with the Nightfall coming in at the moment. So now we're going to be trying to hit him through the pallet. No Cash moment there, my God. Okay, slapping that in front of his face, and I dare say that Sanji's just going to be going back on that top 3 gen, and I think Cash knows that. I think he's just kind of willing to let it get a little bit more progress at the moment to try and down someone, an injured survivor. I just believe there was eruption procced onto that as well, so if we can just down them right now, that'll kind of put the generators at a halt. So down being called as well is going to allow the survivors to not be screaming, allowing them to get off the gens at the moment. Now we're going to be taking this hook onto Frozen, and yes, we're in a very... Would you call this a precarious scenario, Smonk, for the survivors?
It is scary. However, we see Sanji working this relatively high progress gen. It's nearly done. I do wonder if Cash is going to be a bit cheeky, maybe try and bait out a Dragon's Grip tag there. With this generator, we have Eruption coming back online. Now, this would be probably the final kick, but we see someone getting the unhook here. This triple locker is certainly something, because you have basically 3 chances on a lock locker. Unfortunately, Stract getting cornered in this terrible, terrible part of the room. Not able to really survive here. We just got to wait for our power to come back. We see here, Sprint Burst coming through. I forgot we're in a B tier set, so it looks like Cash will just be taking his leave and going over to see if he can get a quick down to Sanji. Sanji, I believe, is our smash hit player, but with that Dragon's Grip coming through, we've pre-left this and pre-ran. This is not even Sanji. This is Frozen and Stract. I don't know where Sanji Sanji went. Here's Sanji, here he is, and he's got nothing to work with. He's got this crummy power at the back. Very generous swing from Cash, but it's worth noting as well, I did get informed by one of our refs that this is an OS lobby, so Cash is on 100 ping and the survivors are on 130. So there are going to be some ludicrous hits coming through on both sides here, no doubt. But looks like we are trying to play the slug game, trying to steamroll it a little bit, securing a 4k2 result, which is a lot more manageable for the Gospel Survivors to deal with when it is Zetsubo's turn to play healer. But with Sanji still on the floor, we're not picking up our fresh hook just yet. He's sort of soaked in a bit of an unfortunate area where it's this giant dead zone. So if Stract or Frozen do rotate to pick him up, they're going to basically get themselves killed. But it looks like we do see Sanji has crawled out of there as we saw some blood leaving that doorway. But we find Frozen here getting caught out of the blue. I believe he's also in Deathlock, so this would force a 2v1, and Nightfall is slowly creeping up, which means we're going to be able to find Strax super easy, but Frozen here has nothing to work with here as we do see the down coming through. No eruption procs as it wasn't active. I don't think we're going to be going for a pick, but we are going for a pick onto Frozen as we see Stract rotating on the pick with the Sanji. Now, this does mean that no one is on the generators, but we get the pick up onto Stract and Sanji. Cash is fully aware, but both these survivors are in very close proximity to each other. We see both the killer instincts nearby, one on the bottom floor, one on the top floor. We're opting to go for the top floor chase, which is Stract. Sanji rotating downstairs, someone trying to force this into a 4k1 as you don't want to get 4k2'd on Dredge. It's certainly not what you want, but Cash is super patient, holding that run for as long as humanly possible, just in case we try and play a little bit greedy. But this is one of those parts we try and go to break because you've got that God window right there. But with that God window being taken, we're going to be rotating away from the chase and instead jumping onto Sanji, who has left the power just a little bit late, which is really unfortunate. But we apply our eruption there as well as our pop. But with the door open, it does mean we're going to be able to just place our remnant, but we're just walking into Cash, kissing him on the face, getting afraid down there. And I believe with Nightfall still active, we found Stract. It's looking like a 4k2 hunter.
It definitely is. I don't really see any world where this isn't, and now Stract is just going to be going down, unfortunately, and that will spell the 4k2, like you had said. Smokes are a very good performance on the side of Cash, and I did say at the beginning of the game that, you know, 4k2s around left, right, and center when Cash is playing the Dredge, and I definitely wasn't let down in that regard. Now seeing that it had happened in this match, regardless of the survivor lineup, this man is absolutely detrimental on the Dredge. Now, we're not gonna, or actually, you know what? Maybe we'll just he is fresh, so we'll just try to see where this goes at the moment. At the moment, the scoring is looking like 7 hooks with 3 freshes on the board. So we're gonna have to find that fresh hook slugged on the floor if we don't want to get penalized at the moment. And Cash knows it, so he's just going to be teleporting around to see if he can get any kind of info on where Sanji might be. He is in the courtyard at the moment, and we are I did get a little bit disorientated at the moment on my call outs, but nevertheless, we have gone to the courtyard. And I do think that we're going to be hearing out our survivor on the floor very shortly, and like clockwork we have, but we're struggling a little bit. I'm not too sure what's happening then. We have managed to find them. Okay, so got a little bit panicky there, but that will be the 4k2. So yeah, definitely a very good performance put up by our killer here, but nevertheless we'll be seeing what the side of Zetsubo's killer can. And welcome back, everyone, to the second half of the Dredge set, where we'll be seeing XTap take the killer side of things for Zetsubo. Now, on the side of Gospel Survivors, we have Nu, Cash, Andrew, and Sizz. The same survival lineup from the Blight game, so definitely their main one for tonight, I do believe. Now, they're chasing a 4k3 win con on the side of XTap and a 4k1 win con on the side of the survivors at Gospel. So definitely doable for both ends. Very even matchup at the moment. And I haven't really seen much of XTap Dredge gameplay at the moment, so I wanted to see what he can pull out of the hat. I know he's a good Blight, and I know he's played a few of the other killers for the side of Source back in the day, so we're going to be finding our chase really early on in the trial at the moment, and it is Nu who will be aggroing all the way down to bottom 1, bottom 2, but we have spotted someone locking a locker over at this top 3, but we're going to opt to still chase Nu, breaking that breakable door all the way down to the bottom 1 pallet now. Greeting it and trying to play this. He's going to have to play the checks. Once this is dropped, you're just going to get hit if you're really patient enough on the side of the Dredge. And we do see that like clockwork happen on the side of XTap. And now he's going to be tagging and leaving, maybe trying to cut Nu off somewhere else, or trying to get some other info to get some tags on the board at the moment. We see a build of another snowball build, if you will. Ruin Eruption, Pop goes the Weasel, and Wretched Fate. So once the Ruin goes, you have the backup of Pop Eruption. I think these guys would probably honestly just try and play through the Ruin, though I can't lie. But nevertheless, we're going to be chasing Cash all the way at this bottom 1 pallet once more, trying to play the Remnant Mind game and get that extra tag on the board if we can, and we do manage to get it. Unfortunately, Cash not being able to skate that one and run all the way down to the bottom side. So we got 2 injuries on the board, 2 healthies on the board, and I don't wonder what the gen progress is looking like at the moment. I can only imagine that there might be 2 splitting now that we catch Andrew all the way down to the bottom 5 here, but oh, things are looking quite weird at the moment, Smonk.
It's a bit odd. He's playing a bit of a hit and run style. He's taking his first. Oh, Andrew, you've sold, mate. But unfortunately, Andrew there not really paying too much attention, running away from the pallet, trying to rotate away to the next room, beating XTap a bit of a later down than we saw Cash there. We see Ruin popping there in the background. I was going to comment on the fact that Ruin was in the worst spot on the goddamn planet. It was in the library, which is like the most obvious Ruin on the planet because it spawns right next to that drop down, which is a relatively high traffic area. But we do catch Cash out on the sprint burst though, so we are able to rotate through this dead room onto the stronger window. XTap did use his earlier Nightfall to try and just play for tags, which is working out his favor a little bit now with the earlier down to Andrew. Andrew getting pulled immediately there with the Pop Eruption being applied to another generator. We see the FTP come through onto an FTP coming through from New onto Andrew, keeping him nice and healthy and safe. XTap, I'm curious to see if he commits to his tunnel, and that's exactly what he's going to do. Andrew needs to get to a resource ASAP, and he does manage to get to this filler pallet here, but against the Dredge, especially on an SEA ping, it's going to be a bit hard to play, but he's playing it pretty well so far. Unfortunately, with the BL1 coming in, this is going to be a tag. I don't know what Andrew's exhaustion is, but it certainly isn't live. As he gets tagged, he's rotating away. Nightfall slowly creeping up. We get this teleport onto this locker to cut him up, but unfortunately that locker is going to kick us right in the nuts as Nightfall does come into play, which means our teleport will be off cooldown much, much quicker than it was going to be. But it looks like XTap is abandoning his tunnel to come and interrupt this gem, but he's too little too late. But we do find 2 survivors here. I believe this is Sizz and News. Sizz, the only healthy player left in the game, but with a little bit of a remnant placement there, it's going to force Sizz to take that window. We're teleporting away with our Nightfall still active, trying to find someone here. I think we do successfully find an injured survivor. I believe this is our tunnel Andrew, but with the first gen done now, we have Wretched Fate in play, which is a bit of passive slowdown from News healing actions. He is FTP, so he has forced that burden onto himself. As for the totem placement, I don't know. XTap has kind of unfortunately just lost a lot of momentum, but Gospel survivors now do need to take a significant amount of time to heal and reset. Worth noting here, XTap did play for more. We find someone here at the God Bar. This is New. XTap did play a more hit and run post style in the early game, but without Sloppy Butcher. Now, it's a bit less value because that's going to be really easy for our survivors here to reset and heal. And we do see Andrew healing Cash up here, so our tunnel's nice and healthy. The only person that's injured now is the Fresh Hook New, but we find Sizz out of place, and XTap's lost a lot of momentum he had at the start of the game, Hunter, and it's just come to kick him square in the nuts.
I get what he's trying to do now, but I just don't see a world where it works without Sloppy Butcher at the moment. Definitely the early game tags were in his favor, but like you said, it was just too easy to get around them once they were... Wait, what? That's a little bit of an ugly vault there from Sizz. I'm just not really too sure what's happening. Maybe a little bit of panic there. It scared me too, Smog, don't worry. But nevertheless, we're going to be taking the teleport back up to top 10. Sorry, top 5 rather? Oh my god, no, it is top 10, my god. Anyway, we're going to be seeing that there was somebody working on that generator up at top 10. It is still erupted at this point in time, but there's only 1 survivor injured at the moment. For all that tagging we did at the beginning of the game, we just allowed the survivors to reset and put the pressure on the generators once more with just nobody on the hooks and nothing really to show for it. XTap's really trying to get this early game down on the board, trying to fight for that 4K3 win con, and I don't necessarily disagree with it, but it's just really coming back to bite him in the ass because the survivors at Gospel are just playing really well at the moment, and we're going to be seeing Cash going to be dropping that pallet in front of his face and blinding XTap as well, now playing this filler pallet as well. Oh, this one. I once remember there was a time where a certain someone did a point tech at this pallet, and then the killer vaulted back into, teleported back into the Remnant and completely missed out on a tag. That person knows who they are, but nevertheless, we'll be taking the chase back onto Cash. He'll be somewhat winning that pallet. You know, he knew he was getting tagged and then just like going to be trying to make as much distance as possible all the way down to the other side of the map. Going to be utilizing the courtyard as well. We're not able to catch him out. We're playing really good by locking the lockers as well, trying to negate the amount of damage that the power will do us in chase at the moment, so kudos to the survivors for doing that. We do see another generator proc in the background at the moment, so we are at our win con. We can't allow any more generators to prop, and Cash is having the chase of his life at the moment, being able to make that as well, and that's going to be XTap whipping through it, but he's going to be hitting him through that 11 pallet, not unfortunately being able to throw it in time. on the side of Cash, we see the double in the background come in, and Nu just kind of stealthing around for the pallet drop, the pallet save, if you will. But we do get the aura of Eruption proc onto Nu as well. And we're just going to opt to go away from this now on the side of XTap and try to catch out our double out on the survivors, which will be this generator over at the bottom 5. We're going to be applying Eruption to that. No, it's not come back in time, unfortunately. It is still on cooldown. I did notice that.
Yeah, unfortunately there we see the pickup onto Cash. I don't know why we didn't go for the hook and get a fresh hook pop Eruption on the board, but we see Nu at this pallet now. I believe this might be our live play because he was playing the ball, but now we get tagged now, unfortunately. This is our Wretched Flight player, also a fresh hook, so not exactly the person we want, and Nu's just going to have to play the pallet to the best of his ability. XTap going for a bit of an instant break there. This little corridor to the side is now open, so this will allow Nu to head down to the pallet room and die towards the side of the map, but with, I don't think he's actually got bloodlust. I think that's a visual bug, but we're going to be getting it down anyway onto Nu there, which will be a nice little fresh. We're going for the pick this time, which is good to see, but we still have a good bit of resources on the board there. We still have that God Power by the stairs still up. We have multiple generators, high progress here. We have the infirmary as well as another gen that says was working. We find someone immediately out the gate with Nightfall coming through. Finally, we see, I believe this was Andrew working this infirmary gen. This will be our pop eruption of application, and we see a very quick unhook onto Nu, but with the lock, it's going to buy us a good bit of time to rotate away now. I do wonder if we're going to be committing to the timeout onto Nu, switching it up a bit, trying to get someone dead, but no, we're rotating down to this side of the map and trying to get maybe a cheeky little tag onto Andrew, who was our original tunnel out now. We know that he doesn't really have any exhaustion perks to help him out here, so this is a really strong chase for XTap to take to try and get himself back into this game, but with this win con being right now, it's not looking like it, and instead he's just going to take a tag despite not having Sludgy Butcher and leaving. It's now down to 4k2, so this is our tie con. We can't afford to drop another generator because then the set will go to Gospel, but we do find Cash out here in the middle of a hallway doing nothing, but he's fully reset because once again, I keep emphasizing, no reset perks, we're playing hit and run, so I don't really know what the plan is, but a very nice TP there through the locker, faking the remnant placement there is going to net us a tag onto Cash, and it looks like we're going to be dropping him yet again and rotating down to this infirmary gen to interrupt it. And we do find Mr. Norman here rotating away from that infirmary gen over to a filler pallet here, but it's not the best in the world. We do get the stun onto XTap, buying us a good bit of distance here as he does break the pallet, and hopefully he tries to find someone, preferably Cash, who is injured. We see the reset coming through onto Andrew. We're missing swings onto lockers. That's really unfortunate. But it's all ground to a halt for him. They just need one more gen and they're done and dust. Cash working another gen off of the distance. It's about a quarter. He's injured as well with resilience, so it's taken a little bit less time. But we do find him, thankfully. XTap trying to take the chase on the Cash. This is also where our Richard Fate Totem is placed, if we do give a damn about that, but I don't think we do. Taking the chase of the Cash, I'm not too sure if he has enough distance to make it. I believe on ping, this is going to be a successful down onto Cash and another fresh hook on the board. Will he go for the throw? No, he does just get down there. We see the eruption coming through. Do we just slug Cash once more, TP down, interrupt the infirmary gen? That's exactly what we're doing. We have a good bit of aura reading on this generator too. It's still regressing, so we don't need to kick it. We're doing an insane mind game that might catch him off guard, but it's not catching him off guard because he does have ears and eyes. So we're going to be rotating away now, back to get to pick up with the Cash, but no, he's already been picked up by one of his teammates. XTap back to square zero.
Yeah, just when you think that, you know, XTap has all this pressure, the survivors just come back from it because they're just able to, with the scenario that they were given and the build that was brought into the match. But nevertheless, going to be taking the chase back onto Sizz now rather than Cash. And we're going to opt to leave with tags. Once again, we're really scared of this infirmary gen popping at the moment down at bottom 5. And now we're going to be taking the eruption proc onto that. We do see a healthy Andrew run all the way into bottom 4. Pallet's been used as well, so there's a lot of resources at the map that have been just gone and aren't at our disposal on the side of the survivors at the moment, but they're still playing good for what it's worth. Andrew's going to be looping around the long wall, and oh, this is really dangerous at the moment, so he's going to be vaulting the window, he's going to be tagged. So there's some injured survivors at the moment, so I think XTap's just hoping that they just press through the generator so he could get a cheeky tag and just blow up the generator over at bottom 5, but, you know, I just think the survivors are a little too... definitely a little too smart for that. Nevertheless, going to be taking the kick onto this generator as well. Nu just kind of over at the courtyard. We see Sizz on the Wretched Fate at the moment. We do see Cash just working this generator as well all the way at the bottom side of the map. So now we're going to opt to take this chase onto Andrew, who's just going all the way down to bottom 11. And he's going to be trying to utilize this pallet, and I dare say we're going to be seeing a little bit of a remnant play here. Yeah, put it at the corner of the doorway, and now going to be playing the check spot and the patient game now. Does he vault the pallet and get hit, or does he win the 50? He's going to be vaulting in and out again, and he's just going to be going down, unfortunately. It's just when that happens, you know, if the Dredge is good enough, he's just going to down you in that regard. So nevertheless, we're going to pick up Andrew. I'm going to get this nice hook onto him, but I dare say maybe one of the generators are really close to popping at the moment. There's somebody on that infirmary generator, and we're taking the hook onto Andrew. We do see that it is our Claudette. It is new. Oh, there's just way too much gen pressure to even pull this back now, so that will be the win for Gospel. And potentially even outs from what I'm seeing at the moment here, Smonk. It's definitely looking really dire for XTap.
Yeah, it's not looking good for him without... Well, okay, we're getting a free tag there, trying to make a bit of distance. Just going back to a player pop rupture to the infirmary gen. Now, this will knock it down quite a good peg, but unfortunately, we're running out of kicks from the generator, and that was the last one as well, because eruption is not hard, which means it's not active. So that's our last hit in the infirmary gen. All progress made on that generator from now on is final. We do catch out Andy here, but we're a little bit too late for our tunnel out. Andy having a good bit of endurance to get to a decent pallet, but pre-throwing that pallet, not getting the start, unfortunately, means that with a little bit of a cheeky random placement, he's just going to meet his end unless he plays it super safe. But except cancelling it just in time, Cash not able to rotate in time for the hit take. My apologies. Will mean the death for Andrew, but we do force his 3v1 way too late. I dare say News already on that infirmary gen, cranking it away. Cash playing super aggressive in front of XTap, you know, wiggling himself around, trying to get him to chase him, but no, New knows that he's going to rotate back down for that infirmary gen, but can't do anything about it. Scissor's working a different gen. That's also... Oh, he can kick it. Okay. No, he can't. He didn't apply his eruption. Ignore me, that was the sounds of the entity blocker. But no, we're taking chase onto New here, who doesn't have many resources. He has a down to power by this execute, but that's about it. With a bit of a patient remnant play, we should be able to get the down, but New equally as patient gets a vault, but New, he makes that vault. XTap whiffing. That's going to allow New to rotate away, and adrenaline onto New. What a kick in the nuts! But with that last gen popping, it means Gospel may very well be able to get out here. Now, due to the field recorder, it does activate it, and then game, so our nightfall is now refreshed. So we have a super long nightfall thanks to Broken Door extending it by 20 seconds, and we just need to find someone, preferably a freshman, to get the best result possible. I don't think we've seen outs on Dredge this whole season. We do see Cash here at the end game, but he has a silly little window to work with, but I think with one tag and a hit tag from New, he should be out if we're already on the other exit gate. Canceling a remnant there, he is rotating to courtyard, and we see that exit gate opening, and I dare say we'll see New going in for a hit take out. Oh god, we got cut off a bit too early as Cash will be going down here. He has a window that's a little bit interesting. New playing aggressive for the hit take, but it comes in at a bit of an awkward time. This forces Cash and New to, Scissor New to reset, but we're going for a bit of a blind and getting a stun off, which is going to buy us a good bit of time, but both Sizz and New have just taken their leave, leaving Cash to defend himself, and he's just playing a clock tower and, you know, building himself a little house, making himself comfy. Rent isn't too high this time, and there's no way we are actually playing out the end game. This is not happening.
Oh, what is this? He's just gonna be. He knows that he's just kind of doomed there if he's just gonna sit over at that corner there. But funny enough, Smunk, we actually have seen outs before in this season in the group stage. It was funny enough, it was Gospel who did it against, I do believe it was Clown Crew. So yeah, they got 4 stages, I think, as a result.
Hello everybody, welcome back to OSL Season 3. This is the grand final, Gospel versus Zetsubo. Now, in case you're just joining us now, we have already seen the Blight and Dredge set, which both went to the side of Gospel, so Zetsubo are down by 2 points. It is first to 4 out of this BO7 here, so Zetsubo, they need to start picking things up, and we are loading into their pick of the Doctor. So this is one of those sets that they should be expected to win, but they were also favored to win the Blight set. So I'm curious to see how they sort of travel on the Survivor end as well as the Killer end versus on the Doctor, because Gospel, from what I've seen from their Doctor play, they know how to do a Doctor. They know how to play Doctor. They know how to play against Doctor. They're pretty familiar with Doctor play. They know how to take hits. They're a very coordinated team. They play a lot of those indoor sets that a lot of people don't like, which is super comm heavy. So we got the comms on one side, but we also got the mechanical skill on the other, on the side of Sen. Arguably one of the best players in the region here, both on a good bit of kills as well as the Survivor. We find New straight off the bat running towards Shaq here, trying to take the first chase, and Doctor's one of those characters, in case you're new to comp and you're just watching, this is one of those sets where you expect stage results, you know, those 4 to 5 stages, and really playing for crumbs on the side of Killer. But with a C-tier killer like this, he is allowed to do a lot more, so he has Sloppy, Pain Res, Corrupt, and with a little bit of bloodlust coming through, we get a very nice tag into New with no resources being needed as we do trying to keep the chase. But Sen playing his cheeky little M1 mind games for it, going for a very aggressive vault. This might even be on down onto New. With one well-placed swing, we should be able to get this, and unless there's someone nearby for a hit tag. With a well-placed shock, he's only had to use it once, and we've already got it down into New. No hit one coming in for a hit tag at all. A bit of a misplay from New, maybe.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, it's not the Gospel we've been watching all season, that's for sure. Very early down, but we are 3-splitting generators at this point in time. Got a basement hook as well, so that's not really good for us on the survivor side. So now Sen going to be going all the way back to the top of the map, and now going to go on a little bit of gen patrol, maybe use the static blast to go find our survivors. We do get some info that somebody was working main. I do believe that was a 7% skill check on main. Now we see Andrew just going to be rotating all the way down to the 10 side of the map. We're going to opt to take this kick. No eruption onto the main, and now we're just going to try and block the road all the way down to Shack. And while we scare the survivors off this generator and try to look back and make sure that we apply the pressure accordingly to both the gens and the hook. So yeah, Sen just kind of in a power position at the moment. Look at this. I just want to point out, Smong, look at these generators. Look, aside from that one at 11, look at how close spread they are at the moment. Just he's able. I'm pretty sure there's a really tight 3-gen over at 4 Shack, and I do believe 5 or 6. So it's like in a little bit of a triangle over in the corner of the map. And with the hook in basement, I think Sen knew that. So now he's just going to opt to try and shock the survivors off the generator while he just, protects the hook until Nu goes to second stage at the moment. So what do you really do if you're on the side of the survivors here? You really need to get that pull out of the basement.
It's a bit hard too, because he's holding this nice little choke, but he has a full idea of where all the survivors are. We have popped 2 gens now, but we know that someone's just popped that gen. We know Andy's behind us straight left, probably rotating in for the save right about now, which is why Sen's dropping this chase onto Sis and rotating over. No, we're just greeding gens, actually. We're saying, screw Nu. He died in a stupid spot. He can rot in the basement for all we care, as we do see him go second stage. Gospel are playing very gen heavy now, but Sen is capitalizing on that fact and just bothering them with the static shocks. Now, once you do get static shocked enough, you do go tier 3, which does mean you can't work in gens and you have to do that snap out. So it's a good bit of slowdown to do that. And our static blast will make someone go up 1 tier exactly, so we don't have to repeatedly shock them. But we have Cash here in a little 4 lane next to Shack, and we've done a really good job of pushing everyone back here. Forcing Cash tier 3 means it's a bit harder to find the doctor, and he does need a snap out now. But we see Andrew and Sis both working gens. We're about to be down to 1 gen, but we're also about to be down to 3 survivors, which is not what you want. And looking at this 3-gen, oh my god, you weren't getting Hunter. This is a disgusting 3-gen, and we've died directly in the middle of it. Nu not able to get out of the basement. Gospel are just recognizing the fact that he is DAD. That's dead at 2 gens left, and he didn't have much of a chance to chase anything, and it's all gone south for Gospel as Sen's been gifted this nice little 3-gen on a silver platter, and with nothing but pretty shitty loops around it too. Like, we got 2 4 lanes connecting Shack, nothing behind it. This is really grim, but Sis taking an aggressive chase here so that way Cash can start working the generator on the other side of the map. We fake the bubble, but it doesn't work as we do get a tag here. That gen in the distance is getting done, which is nice to see. Now, the play here for Gospel to play the 3v1 is they just need to take tags, and they need to rotate away from the 3-gen to take hit takes. And now we see Andrew rotating in for a hit take with the Sis, but that means that Cash is going to need a pre-stealth here, which is going to be a bit hard basket. He is the head-on player too, so if he's able to quick and quiet into a generator, into a locker, that'd be huge. That'd be huge for us, because when you're in lockers, Stack Blast doesn't do anything, and we are in the locker, which does mean we get a successful stealth here. Sen, no eruption here, so we are checking lockers, which probably scared the shit out of Cash, but thankfully we're not getting pulled. We're getting ahead on and rotating over to Shack to hopefully get a nice little pre-throw on the Shack pad to buy some good bit of distance, but we see the reset coming through onto Sis. Sen missing the shock as Cash does play it a little bit interestingly. Unfortunately, that medium bolt and on ping does mean we're getting tagged. We can't be dying in the gens and we need to leave, but we only make the bus. Sis is right next to the active gen as well as Andrew and Sis have reset each other in the background. I am curious to see if we rotate in for a bit of a hit tank, but Cash is able to rotate all the way over to this truck loop and continue on to main. If he dies on this side of the map, it's actually pretty good, but we still have our Painless tokens and a bit of a short swing. Unfortunately, Cash made himself completely ethereal and doesn't get tagged. Really unique perk that, but looking at our pain resistors, once again, shout out behavior for fixing the spectator, but we can actually see the pain resistors. We have 2 very close to our 3-gen, but we do get this pain res hook as Andrew and Sis are slowly working those gens in the background, I dare say. Maybe splitting pressure. We hear Sis screaming in the background from a high progress gen as we get our second hook of the match, but it's really critical here, Hunter. You got to play for all you got, but we already have a gen at halfway at the Shack.
Yeah, I mean, they're playing good for what it's worth. You got to remember, even though there was like a tunnel out and that we have 1 survivor out, 3v1 at 1 gen remaining. It's just they can still pull. They can definitely still pull it back with the amount of resources that are still left over on the map because we weren't able to have such a great chase. It was such a defensive game, if you will. You know, with like the other teams that aren't Gospel at the moment, like you just see them kind of lose at this point in time. But Gospel just knows how to play around the Doctor so well for just running the Doctors for extended amounts of time. So, you know, it wouldn't surprise me if we saw outs from this, especially from what we saw last week on the final. So we're going to be taking this kick now from Sen onto that generator over at mid 5. And now we have seen Andrew just kind of utilizing these shack check spots to injured on the map as well. So I'm not too sure if they're going to go for a reset or if they're going to try. They actually can't press the generators with the chase being so close. I didn't manage to see how close that generator over at 3 was actually to the chase. But nevertheless, we're going to be getting hit through the pallet on the side of Andrew. You hate to see it. And he's going to be slapping that in the face of the Dr. Sen, but you know, that's just a waste of a pallet, unfortunately. We weren't able to scathe from that hit, and now pre-dropping this pallet as well. We're just using all the resources in our area. So as I say that, we have so many resources on the map. It looks like we're running out. He's going to try and fake the window to bait Sen into just getting mind games, but unfortunately not being able to do so. And we do see the reset come in the background as well now, and the pickup coming onto Andrew. Sizz and Cash in the background going for a little bit of a split. Sizz going for the unhook, and I do believe Cash is going to be working that generator all the way over at 4. Sen giving a little bit of the shakes at the moment. Not too sure what that's all about, but we do see the pain res, and I like to point that out, Smog. Sometimes I kind of like just guessing, is this a pain res? Is this going to hit the generators? But nevertheless, we're going to be using our static blast to see if we can spot any of the rotations through the gens and for the hook at this point in time.
It's looking pretty chopped here. We did do a pretty good job getting those gen progress and playing aggressively. We see a very quick hit one hook into Andrew. We're playing for an early hit take onto Sizz, but we can't afford to join the 3 gen. Everyone must go to the other side of the map, and this is exactly what we're seeing happen as Cash rotates. As likely Cash is rotating down to work in a separate gen, but we still got one more painters on the board. I know it says 2 tokens down there. Andrew is also injured now. I believe that's clean break, a perk from Tory Kane, so he should be nice and healed in 60 seconds while we do start healing Sizz very likely. But we get a nice little tag onto Cash there, which does force us to go to the other side of the map. But we see the Doctor on hot pursuit here. Not a lot of resources available to him. He does have this truck pallet to play around, but if he dies in this pallet, it's going to mean bad news, because it means a hook is going to be able to happen all the way into his 3 gen, but likely we're going to be having to need to work these gens injured. Unfortunately, Cash, they're getting mining him a little bit, but playing with the slug as Sen believes that they're trying to pop all the gens. If he keeps playing this correctly and has all his ducks in a row, we might even be seeing a 4K1, because this 3 gen split and all these resources is disgusting. We've also found all survivors, 2 of which are injured. Andrew's about to be healthy, but we find Sizz. I believe this is our last painters, if I'm not mistaken, as we do get a cheeky little shock that will be the down onto Sizz, and we see Cash in the background there screaming. That means that our slug is still on the floor. Andrew just probably trying to crank a gem, but we see him fully healed now due to clean break. This is probably our painters. I can't remember the life of me, but anyway, we're hooking him on the painters regardless, very close to our 3 gen. We see the pickup coming through onto Cash, as yes, it is a pain res from Sizz. This is the 3rd, so the last fresh hook of the game. We won't be seeing that last toke being used, as it was nobody died in basement, so unfortunate. I was concerned about the lack of eruption, as generally you want to, kick your gens that you're trying to hold his dock to get that down in the eruption coming through, but honestly, he hasn't even needed it. He's playing out of his mind right now. He's also had an insane set of resources gifted to him in this 3 gen, and we do find Andrew in the background there, who is now tier 3, meaning he can't work on gens till he snaps out of it. Cash, still injured somewhere on the map. I don't know if he has any method to heal himself. No, he doesn't. He does get found as well. Another 4-lane. This is like the 18th 4-lane on this map. It's like a 3-lane hybrid thing, but whatever. This is like the 18th version of this tile we've seen on this map. This is the worst wretched shop I've ever seen in my life. Not to mention the gens, but Cash with a little bit of an interesting pathing is going to be rotating around and just dying on the core edge map here by main. We see the unhook happening onto Sizz here, but with these gens reaching basically 0 due to the past regression from both painters and just Sen kicking the gens, Gospel are a bit stuck in this 3v1. They're always playing this back and forth as they're not able to get the resets through due to sloppy and constant tier 3s, and Sen playing his shocks really well, but I don't know what you do here. We do see Andrew stealthing in Shack in a locker, just trying to avoid the static blast that's about to happen in about 3 seconds. As Sen patrols his generators, it does come through now, is used, which means Andrew will be able to play in his 3 gen without needing to worry about that big AoE. You do got to play the battle of attrition, I suppose, where you do slowly bait out these dry kicks and such, but with so many kicks left on the gens and one person already dead, it's just not looking good for Gospel, Hunter.
It's actually huge that Andrew was able to kind of dodge that static blast in the lockers there. You definitely need to be resetting at this point in time, but Sen's not going to allow that to happen. And if he can get a quick down, yeah, I definitely agree that they're in a really bad position at the moment. We do see both injured survivors all the way down at the one side of the map, and that Sizz going to be going down, unfortunately not being able to get that pallet drop. Cash is going to be vaulting the window all the way over at one and getting caught out. Edge map doesn't really have much to work with. Can he get the pallet drop? No. We're going to be seeing the shot come in from the side of Sen. Is he going to drop? Oh, a little bit of a nice mind game here, and I thought he was going to go for a second shock, but Cash being able to read it as well, going to be utilizing the vault. He's playing really well around this one tile at the moment, so if he can have an absolutely crazy chase, we can probably see a generator prop in the background if all things considered. And now, yeah, he's just being able to utilize nothing but a window and a dream at the moment, but I do say this is going to be him going down with no eruption. I think Andrew's going to be able to maybe pop that generator if Sen doesn't go looking for it, and I think he is going to go looking for it. I think he's content with just leaving his slugs on the ground and looking for the healthy survivor that might be potentially doing any generators over at this bottom side. So this is what separates a good player from a great player, just being able to have immense game sense and know that that's the situation that currently he is given. And now that he doesn't see anybody over at that generator, and he does see that we do still have our down survivor over here. He knows it's safe to pick up this oh, actually no, I lied. I thought it was, wait, is it safe? Oh, honestly, I thought he gets that. I can't lie. I thought that we were coming in for a pallet save, but nevertheless, going to be taking the death onto Cash now. So it is a 2v1 at 1 gen remaining, unfortunately. Sizz going to be trying to body block. Not too sure what this is all about. We're just going to try and pop all gens, and we do see it happen. Oh my! And now we're going to be able to tag Andrew and try to get him down as soon as possible. What are our gates looking like at the moment? We have 1 at 11 and 1 at 3 here, so I definitely dare say that Sizz will be going down all the way to 11, so we just kind of have to accept that the fact that this is going to be a what seems to be a 10-stage game once the more, if we can actually get Andrew down in the process, because if he lasts long enough, he has the potential to be able to out through the hatch. So I think that's what they're kind of going for here. And we're not using the checkbox correctly. I don't really know what's happening there. We're going to leave Andrew slugged. I really wonder if Sizz actually did go on. Yeah, he did go on a gate. Okay, so we're going to be taking this hook onto Andrew, and that will be the 10 stages for Fresh. Now, that's definitely a very good result on the Doctor from the side of Sen as well. When they really expect 3 stages, you know, on the side of Gospel from what we have. And welcome back, everyone, to the second half of the third set, which will be the Doctor. We'll be seeing Andrew on the Doctor now. Quite interesting, since we've been seeing Cash recently for the side of Gospel, but nevertheless, still a very good, renowned Doctor, if I do say so myself. On the side of the survivors for Zetsubo, we have Key, Sen, Baki, and Stract. So quite similar to the first set, if you will, on the Blight side of things, but actually it's the exact same, I do say. But nevertheless, loading upon this, we're chasing a 11-stage win con on the side of our killer and a 9-stage win con on the side of our survivors, all for Fresh. So definitely doable on both sides, like always, but Doctor set against Zetsubo the only survivor on this set that'll be on ping will be Stract at the moment. So all things considered, definitely doable to get around the 3 to 6 stages at this point in time against Andrew. So loading in, we're going to be seeing Andrew rotate over to the middle of the map, and he's probably going to be utilizing his static blast anytime soon to see if he can see any stealth rounds. And I do say he does see the first chase of the trial, and he's not canceling his static blast. He's just going to opt to chase this all the way down to the 2 and break that pallet as well after it has been dropped. But we're going to opt to chase for something a little bit more in our favor. No lol jokes. We're going to try and go on a little bit of gen patrol. The pre-drop of that pallet coming in from Key as well over in the mid side of the map is going to allow Andrew to break that. Kind of a little bit of a waste of a resource there, if I do say so myself. And looking at our gens, I don't think there's as much of a harsh regen as we saw last match. Probably some better RNG. We do see this LNT over at 6, which can definitely be useful later on in the game. Keep in mind that we both have Baki and Sen, who are very renowned on those LNTs, but nevertheless, Key will be taking we're getting a pallet drop coming in as well from the side of Baki, preserving Key's chase for a little bit longer. You know, we're not even doing any body blocks at the moment, so we're able to save a health state in that regard at the cost of Shack Pallet. And I do say hopefully there will be some progress on these generators as a result of it. But we do see Sen pre-dropping that 3 pallet, and we're utilizing a lot of resources at the start of the game here, Smug. I'm kind of getting scared.
And it's a bit concerning. We do see, instead of hit takes coming through, we see survivors dropping pallets for key. As Andrew is focusing on shocking key, he's not really paying attention to survivors at random, so it does allow key to get to a better spot. Like we see Sen here doing the exact same thing. Unfortunately, missing that swing there, which was a bit of a robbery, if I do say so myself. But we are trying to play around the pallet now. We do have the static blast. Now looking at Andrew's build, we do have rapid brutality, so if anyone does choose to take a hit take, we will be able to catch up a little bit faster, although it does mean we won't be able to do bloodlust, but that doesn't really matter too much on Doctor. But we also have machine learning, which did recently get buffed to 60 seconds with 8% haste and undetectable, so I dare say Big Man's going to be getting his pain hook, finding a high progress gen, kicking it, rotating back to hook, and then he'll be able to take his chase for his tunnel out with 8% haste. Now, if he plays his cards correctly, he hits the right gen, able to find his tunnel out, and the stars align, he'll get big value out of it. Like, he'll be able to get his chase pretty easily. If someone comes in for a hit take, down to 5% plus that 8% haste, you get it quite easily. And he's not really kicked in any gens yet. I am curious to see if he goes for the kick on this gen or the shack gen. I think he's going to be kicking the shack gen and then rotating away from it, making it compromised. I do wonder if maybe the side of Zetsubo will be keen on the idea of that being nearly done. We have another much higher progress gen that I would have probably kept a machine learning instead, but we see the unhook coming through onto key as we are going for our tunnel out here, but we have the support of likely Sen in the background there. A pallet nearby, but shocking key will mean he won't be able to make it. And another shot coming through here. I do wonder if someone's nearby to throw the pallet for him, or if we're just going for it. We're going for a hit take, but Sen kind of buggering it up a little bit, but thankfully recovering. Very fantastic body block work from Sen, as we do have our rapid brutality. Now, with this shock and the rapid brutality, we might be able to get the hit, but instead we're going for another shock, which is a bit psychotic, but it works out in our favor. Machine learning popping a little bit late to the party, as we've already got our down, but this will potentially mean we can kick that other gen that was high progress, get a second machine learning for the final tunnel out, and potentially find someone else. We're able to get a fresh hook on descend, get a pain rose during this point in time. That'd be huge, but no, we're not able to commit to that as we are super fast thanks to machine learning. We see a reset coming through on descend. It is worth noting as well, due to the existence of rapid brutality and machine learning on this build, we don't have any sloppy butchers. We see another gen popping in the background, and all things considered, Andrew's doing pretty good for a Doctor set, but for the result that you need, which is 11. This is a disgusting setup, by the way. Like, the difference between Zetsubo and Gospel's map RNG has been insane. We have both ends of the spectrum. We have two incredible loops connecting Shack, and then also that loop then connecting into a long wall window. It's kind of insane. We see Key coming through with an unhook here. We still have a little bit of machine learning. Static Blast not really doing anything because we are undetectable, but we see what looks to be Strack taking the hit here as he did do his gen, as likely Sen and Backy are working the final generator. No Noah to back us up, and I dare say Andrew has sort of reserved the fact that an 11-stage result is kind of impossible, and he's just trying to play for the best result he possibly can here.
Yeah, definitely. Now taking this chase onto Stract as well, who's going to be trying to utilize this pallet and dodging the shock accordingly. Very nice by Stract. It's probably going to spell his demise, though. I don't really see him living this much longer, and I'm not too sure where Key's gone at this point in time, but we do see the generator proc all the way at the background. So kind of the price to pay when you bring in two comfort perks into your game, Smunk. We do, you know, like you said, see rapid brutality and machine learning, but I just don't really see it aiding Andrew all that much. Even though we have still three stacks of pain res left at our disposal, we're able to kind of hold the game to a little bit just right now, but the gen spread's just a lot more vaster than last game, I can't lie. And now we're going to be seeing the tag onto Backy, who will be taking chase all the way down to the shack, and now trying to loop the shack with no resources at his disposal. But I do believe he still has the pallet, and with actually, I take it back, with machine learning, without machine learning, he wouldn't have made that. I guess without rapid fatality as well, but that, yeah, it's just, oh my god, what a swing. Nevertheless, going to be taking the hook onto Backy now. I imagine that there will be someone in the background working those generators, maybe Sen playing a little bit aggressive, going for a little bit of a reset at this point in time. We do see Strack all the way over at one. We do actually, there's a double wait, this is absolutely crazy. What am I seeing here? Two injured survivors on a generator and the healthy one going for the survivor. Okay, so it's just a save on my very aggressive. Okay, I imagined we would have gone for a little bit of a reset, but I'm sorely mistaken. Nevertheless, we'll be taking the chase back onto Strack over at this short pallet here, just outside of main, getting shocked as well. He's not going to be able to drop this, so he just has to play for distance and time, and he's just going to be going down at the pallet. Is there anyone for a pallet save? I don't think they'll really waste the time doing that. I think they'll try and reset, regroup, recollect, as you would in a scenario like this. That will be our 5th stage of the game, our 3rd fresh of the trial. So, oh my, wait, the gen's almost done.
Yeah, nearly done. We're going to be able to double it, but with a bit of shock therapy, we might be able to get, but we're just barely out of range. That final gen pops in no gens kicks, so we don't even get our machine learning here in the end game, but we are going to be taking the down into backhand. Well, this is a decent result for Doctor. All things considered, it's not what you needed. You needed that 11 stage, and I don't really see it happening here. All we need to do is just open the door and get Sen out, because Sen hasn't been hooked yet. He's our fresh hook, he's healthy, there's no Noah in play. Distracted Key can just die from him, and it's no wise, but we do find Sen over here by the shack, and it looks like he's just going to be looping shack while the others get the door open, backing on the floor there. Andrew trying to play for his 11 stages, but unless Zetsubo just throw themselves out there, this is going to be a Zetsubo win. Now, given the fact that it is their pick, I'm not too shocked we see the door opening in the background as Distracting Key are likely to leave, but even then, like, we get the hit tag on the back, and we don't even get the pick up for Doctor, and this is just going to be, I think that's 4 stages. I can't quite tell through the stream resolution. 4 stages, 3 fresh. Not a terrible result for a Doctor set, but it's not what you need to win, unfortunately, as we are getting sent out the door there. Cracker coming down, but not needed, as Sen and Key there are both out the door. Unfortunately, our timeline taking a bit too long there. Andrew, I don't know, it's just like, I don't even think he played badly, per se. I think the perks did help a little bit in some scenarios. Maybe something like sloppy over rapid would have been a much bigger deal, because then we wouldn't be seeing, you know, any super fast resets or anything like that. We are just healing Strack and Backy at the edge map, and Andrew's just swinging at nothing, waiting for them to leave. I think if you use a Saga Blast right now, he'd be able to get it down and get another hook, but instead we just see a double reset on Distracted Backy, and they're going to be able to get out the gate. We see both of them stealthing at edge map. If he was able to just do that a little bit earlier instead of just hitting trees, he would have been able to interrupt the reset there. But instead, we are going to be taking the chase to the back. He was trying to wait for his, I was going to say sprint burst, but no, it's a C tier set. We're going to be taking the hit unless we're just trying to body block Backy for any. We are trying to body block Backy at the end game here, trying to get the entity to kill him, but it looks like he's just been body blocked back as Andrew not quite able to get this body block to come through here. He's trying it, but no, Backy is certainly out. I think he's just screwing with him.
Yeah, he definitely is, and now that will be all the survivors out of the trial, if I do say so myself. If you don't mind, that'll be Strack going through the hatch. So yeah, all things considered, 4-stage results. So, you know,
hello everybody, welcome back to OSL Season 3. This is the grand final, Gospel versus Zetsubo. Now, in case you missed, we're about halfway through the games. We're all the way up to the Doctor... sorry, we're not up to the Doctor set. Are we? What are we doing? Where am I? Who am I? We're playing Hillbilly. Sorry, we just had the Doctor set is what I meant to say, where we saw Zetsubo taking their first point there. It is now 2-1 in Gospel's favor as we see Zetsubo taking their pick of the Doctor. But now we're into the Hillbilly set. Now, in case you're unaware of how grand finals work, it is a best of 7 where the S tiers are forced picks. So you're forced to play Blight first, and then set 4 is always going to be Billy, and then set 7 is going to be the third S tier, which would have been Nurse, but this time it's Dark Lord, as Nurse is not in the pool this season because she was horribly bugged. So instead, it's going to be Dark Lord. But we have Boss Billy set, which is in favor for Gospel, in my opinion, as we have the Gibbsy Billy here with the Corrupted Bam Pop Eruption with the spiked boots as well as the eerie engravings, as we find Key straight off the bat here at the edge map on Bloodlodge, going for a bit of a cheeky little saw. We are not quite able to get the down, a little bit of a crouch attack from Key, keeps the chase going. We don't want to get too tapped like that at the start of the game, but that being said, we're at a pretty unfortunate spot at the edge map, and with a little bit of feathering, Gibbsy's going to be able to zone Key away from it as he's forced to just play this rock now. A little bit of a curve, should just be able to get it down on the Key as we do back over him. Key not able to stick around to the pallet there is going to be really quick down, all things considered. We barely see any gens cranking now, although Billy is an S tier, so we don't get any painters die, and we did die edge map. So we're going to have to drag Key all the way down to the near the mid map here, and then Gibbsy's going to use his mobility to rotate around, apply his pops and eruptions, and then come back to the tunnel. Now, Gibbsy, he was our Billy during the 1v1 event in preseason season 3, so he was very versed. Gibby, it's one of his favorite killers, unknown being another killer that Gibbsy's also very good at, but I think it was banned by Zetsubo, so we'll be seeing that today. We're going to go for a cheeky curve on Distracted, he hits it! This is the type of start you want to see if you're a Gospel Hunter.
Yeah, definitely. I can't believe what I'm seeing right now. This is an absolute massacre. Ever since Key went down, everything's just gone to shit. But nevertheless, taking that down onto Strack, now going all the way back down for Backy, who was able to get the pull onto Key, but for what cost? Now we have one on the ground, one on the hook, one in chase, and just Sen just has to kind of recuperate and recollect everybody at this point in time, kind of pick up the mess that was made. Nevertheless, we'll be taking chase back onto Key, and he's going to have to really pull something out of the hat here if Zetsubo are able to stay in the game at the moment. Now utilizing this little midfielder at the moment, playing around it is Gibbsy, and Yeah, he's just an absolute monster, this man, you know, never outed on the billy, this guy. So he's just really being able to put that aggressive pressure onto our survivors at the moment. And Key having a little bit of a better chase now, being able to rotate all the way down to 9 and utilize the fun bus. Now, where is the window? It is on the side of fun bus. He was able to make that, so I'm not too sure what his plans were there to try and go around the rock, playing a little bit too greedy, unfortunately. Now getting the pick onto Key. That will be his second hook and the third hook in the trial with 4 generators remaining. We do see 2 generators in the background, so there is gen pressure. Okay, it's not as much as we would have liked, and it didn't happen as soon because usually you'd have a double. Usually you'd have 2 survivors on 1 generator, but it didn't happen this trial. But regardless, we do have 2 highly progressed generators now. Sen and Chase, 1 Key on the hook at the moment, so wondering who's going to be going for the save at the moment. So Sen's going to have to really, really do a little bit of jiggy at the moment to get the game back on its feet. And, you know, Gibbsy knows that. He's going to have none of it. He's going to opt to go for something. That's way more in his favor. If he was to hit that, I would have jumped out of my seat and probably done like a little bit of a dolphin dive over at my couch at the back, kind of like Hez. But nevertheless, we're going to be taking Chase back onto Stract. Is going to be utilizing this SIM card. Man, please don't loop this. I'm going to lose my mind if he gets some sort of flick there, but we're just going to kick the gen and go all the way back down to the unhook, and we're going to play as safe as we can and try to tunnel out Backy as soon as we can. I'm not too sure if Deli's in the game at the moment. We'll have to wait and see, but he's going to be vaulting that window into 11 now, and we're going to be bamming this window, and Backy's probably going to be going down really quickly at the moment if he isn't able to... Oh, he greeted that pallet as well and got caught out. No, that is so unfortunate.
Yeah, we did see Deli already used Hunter Backy when he was hooked at the start after that trade. He was our Deli, so Deli's already used. Backy will be on death hook now. Means we have 2 potential tunnels, both Key and Backy. After Backy does get unhooked, we see a gen popping in the background, and it was honestly thanks to that Deli that Zetsubo was able to get the early game back on their feet, and Sen didn't need to get off the gens and go for a run around. We see another gen popping here because we had Backy getting the Deli, which did help Zetsubo quite a bit, but now we've successfully zoned Strack to the edge map here, which will be another fresh hook for Gibbsy as we're down to the 2 gens remaining, and Backy's just kind of getting cooked on the hook. Another crouch check from Strack coming through. A very nice play from him here, but with another back grab coming through, I don't think Gibbsy's going to get crouch checked twice, but we have this little pile of garbage. It's not really working out in our favor. We see the unhook coming through on Backy, and this is the second time this distract has been left on the floor, but we still have a bit of pop left. We're trying to find where someone is. I think this is Backy here at the shack part. Another potential tunnel out. We're going to be able to kill Backy here. If we're able to find T afterward, this would be huge for us, and we don't quite get Backy. That was nearly a hit, but a cheeky crouch check coming through, and it's just going to say goodbye to the shack pallet here, as he's still got a tiny bit of blue sword left, but it's not going to be enough. Backy is able to rotate over to this pallet and pre-drop it, but we're chewing through pallets like they're made of paper as we're committing to the chase with the Backy. I don't think he has any resources here. We're just going to be going for an M1 swing. Despite it being an STS out, we do have Dead Hard banned, as is a little bit unfair against Billy, but we see another gen high progress there that Key was doubling with Sen, so we're seeing a death on the Backy. This is going to bring it down to a 1v3 at 2 gens remaining. My apologies. If Key's found now is bad news for Zetsubo. Strack is injured though, so it is the much stronger chase for Gibbsy to take. We'll see a distinct progress generator here, some faint scratch marks on the floor as Sen was leading, but we're going to be kicking that with our pop eruption and then rotating away. King successfully stealthing there, Sen hiding in the filler. Strack having fun on a generator with bugger all progress. It's looking a bit interesting, I'd say, Hunter. It could go honestly either way depending on how well Key stealths here, but I think Gibbsy's sniffing him out, Hunter.
I think it's just still slightly in Gibby's hand at the moment. The guy's just an absolute menace. If you know, if you really want a description on what the Bogan Billy kind of gameplay is, then look no further than Gibbsy. But he's just playing out of his mind, very aggressive-like, if you will. He sees the scratch marks over at midnight, so he needs this chase and he needs it. He needs this down and needs it quick. And Key doesn't really have a lot to work with over at this bottom side of the map. I'm not too sure if that was called out by his team. And Gibbsy colliding with the trees is going to allow Key to get a little bit of extra distance to be able to make this 7 pallet at the point in time. But Gibbsy not opting to break it. I think he was like getting a little bit torn whether he wanted to go for a little bit of a flick or go for the pallet break, but that's going to allow Key to buy even more time around this dumpster filler. He still has the window at Shack. Gibbsy knows that he's going to have to try and flick him around if he is to get this down. Here's still the blue saw and, faking the window as well. Very smart by Key. Wait, going into the edge of the... Wait, what is happening? He went to go around the tiles all the way over edge map. It was a wall and he ran straight into it. Gibbsy not able to get the down, but able to down Key, and that... You know, all things considered, wait, what is happening? I didn't know there was gen pressure smoke.
Talking about Zetsubo kind of fun in the end game there, but that chase from Key just allowed them to just split the gens, Stract and Sen on the gens, and they're able to pop all the gens. Gibbsy's going to be sweating bullets now. He wasn't expecting that second gen pop, but thankfully to his mobility, he's able to patrol these doors, but these doors are kind of shit. As Stract is on one of the doors there, we need to get at least one of these gamers, get a 9-stage refresh would be a huge benefit, but we do find Stract here at Shack. If Stract's able to run Shack for just a little bit longer, Sen will be able to open the door and we'll be able to see Stract out the gate there, at the hatch, sorry, as this is the hatch, but he has the window here. He is our unbreakable, so we can't go for a slide, but it's already been used. He's our live player as well, so live buying us a good bit of time. That door's halfway through onto Sen, but Stract has to rotate away. Gibbsy has to know that that door's nearly done. He has to zone Stract away from the shack. It can't let Stract through the shack. Don't use your saw, mate. Just go for an M1 here. Stract has got this pallet, though. Gibbsy goes to the break. No, he fakes it. Oh, he's just zoning Stract away from the tile, trying his best to get the down onto Stract. Doesn't want to give him any legway to get to the door or to Shack, but Stract making a break for the door. He's gunning for it. Gibbsy using his sword to catch up, but it's not looking good for Stract. He's just trying to play around all the garbage fillers, but he's able to keep his distance. Stract might be able to make it through the door if Gibbsy misses his sword, but no, he is down, thankfully, just out of reach, but that will be the Mori. A 9-stage 3 fresh, and you said Gibbsy's never been outed, but that day ends today, as we do see the 9-stage 3 fresh sent out the door.
And welcome back, everyone, to the second half of the Billy set, which is the 4th set of the night. Zetsubo really looking to take this set home in particular. This will level out the scoring 2 to a set. First of 4 wins. Now, Sen on the Billy, Gospel on the Survivors. We have Nu, Cash, Andrew, and Sizz. Definitely their stacked lineup throughout the whole season, but we got Sen's Billy, and we know Sen's really good on the Billy, having that cross map and also being nominated for Down of the Season as well. So you've all seen what he's capable of. Definitely capable of pulling a 4K1, a 4K0, and yes, definitely a 11-stage game, 10-stage game. But we'll just have to really wait and see. He is versing Gospel, who have been practicing this set time and time again. It's definitely one of their strongest sets. Now, Sen's going to opt to go all the way down to 1 and see the scratch marks all the way. Wait! It almost happened. We almost had deja vu. My God! We have spotted Cash around this crane filler at the moment, pre-dropping it as well. We're not too sure which side he's on. He's able to... I think he slow vaulted the pallet. I'm not too sure. Or dropped it on the right side. Nevertheless, going to be able to break away from Chase all the way down to 11, where we have these LNTs, these godforsaken LNTs on the side of the Billy as well. Oh my God. Definitely not the tire you want to be chasing. He's going to be bamming that T-wall and vaulting back as well. Trying to catch Cash out of position. He's going to be trying to utilize the pallet over at mid 11 now. Going to be playing the check spots. Going to be playing really patiently. Waiting for the blue saw is Sen. And once he gets that blue saw, it's going to be a lot easier to curve. But Cash being able to break away free and kind of just, Sen's getting a little bit caught out now. He's just going to have to go all the way back down to the Gen Patrol because we've spent a little bit too much time on Cash for an S-tier killer. And now we see the scratch marks all around main. I'm not too sure who this is that we'll be chasing at the moment, but they are doing a really good job of just kind of just holding forward. It is our Claudette. It is Nu who'll be pre-dropping the outside pallet outside of main, and now colliding into the Bridgestone tires is Sen, just struggling to get this first down of the trial. And now Nu's just going to be able to kind of do a little bit of jigging, drop the firecracker and try and make another pallet. And he, once again, Sen missing the saw as well. And just, he's just going to give up and go for the M1 now. A really, really bad early game at the moment for Sen. Just the Survivors are playing out of their mind. Nu pre-dropping that pallet as well and going all the way back down to mid 11, and the LNT coming in clutch. This tile is proving to be a little bit troublesome for our killer here. We see the first generator of the trial POC in the background, and now Nu's going to opt to go all the way down to this pallet. Again, this pallet is causing Sen a little bit of too much trouble, if I do say so myself. But now we finally see the first chase, the first down of the trial. All while the totem in the background's being popped. I'm not too sure which that was. I don't know if that was like, I didn't get to manage to see our build at the moment that we brought in. It is ruined. We do have Eruption still at disposal. So we only got Eruption and Bamboozle left in the trial, Smunk.
Yeah, worth noting as well, Nu is Delhi, so no Delhi. So while we are about to lose a 3rd gen as well, as we saw that, I think that was Cash working a pretty high progress gen there in the background. Yes, there it is. 1 chase with 3 gens, and Andrew's gen's already a quarter of the way through. It's looking pretty grim on the side of Zetsubo, really. As we do nearly catch out Cash, he's not able to pop his generator, unfortunately, but we are blue saw, so we need to play this tile to protection. But no, it's curve! We'll see goodbye to Cash, as they're still going to be taking that slug and then rushing it back over to interrupt the uphill coming through onto Nu. This is Sen's time to try and bring this trial back to his favor, but no, No one's coming in to save Nu. Andrew's cranking motors. Sizz is crouching nearby. Oh no, he's not even near the hook. We're just gonna let, I guess, Cash go second stage. I'm not too sure how Unbreakable is. If it's not Sizz, I'm assuming it's going to be Cash. So we have slugged our Unbreakable player, so no one needs to rotate in for a save as Cash is back up on his feet there. I think Sen is pretty convinced that someone is nearby to get this unhook, maybe the deli, but little does he know Mr. Deliverance is hanging on the hook directly in front of him. Cash popping that generator in the background. Sen opting to leave, crashes into a rock. Andrew about to pop another gen. They're on top of the gens this game. It's kind of insane as we do see Sizz slowly working up the side of the map there as Sen has rotated away to go interrupt the gen, but we see it popping right in front of his face. Andrew needing to rotate over to this totem to the best of his totem. That's a pallet, buddy. What are you talking about? As we are instead going to bail on that chest and go back for a potential tunnel line onto Nu. We need to force it 3-1 as soon as possible as we are working with a 10-stage win con on the side of Sen. But as it's looking, it's going to be out. A nice stun from Sizz. That's fantastic timing from my boy as he does force Sen to rotate away, check on his gens. He's got a Eruption still in his back pocket, but he hasn't made any use of it as he is trying to find someone at this long wall. He's pretty convinced that someone's nearby, but I don't think there's anyone here as he's just going to be forced to rotate away. Looking at our gens, they're pretty split. We've got main building and these two gens on this side of the map. We see a Crow getting disturbed on the far right and as well scratches on the ground here, but I think Sen's pretty much found someone over here by the air wall T-wall. I think that was Nu, our tunnel, but no, instead it's Cash. Rotating away, he's going to be trying to play the air wall T-wall to the best of his ability. He can't really afford to die here as it is the middle of his 3-gen, but it's going to be an M1 from Sen as we will get the second fresh look of the match. This will be 3 stages. Sen rotating back to get a potential eruption tag as we see Andrew and Sizz working a different gen on the other side of the map and Nu rotating in for an unhook onto Cash, but it's down to the wire now as we are going for slug plays. 2 survivors injured on the board. One of them is no method though, so we can't slug Andrew. He's got to play for pearls at this point.
I mean, and you have anti-slug too. It's like, what do you even do in this scenario if you're on the side of Sen? You know, the survivors are just in such a power position at the moment. Downing Nu though, at the cost of some progression, maybe all the way over at 1 or 2, wherever that gen was. We do see Cash, yeah. So Sizz is still just working that, and it's halfway done. You see the double on the other generator all the way over at 11, but that will be the down onto our Claudette Nu. We do see those 2 survivors now get kicked off. No, sorry, Sizz get kicked off this generator. It is the 2 survivors over at 11 being worked now. So Sen just kind of has to ping pong through these generators. We're really pushing that on the side of the survivors being injured as well. So if we're able to catch someone out and we do, oh no. No. That is not what you need on the side of Gospel. Andrew, no. We have Cash. He really needs to live here. He can't really afford to go down at this T. Because if he can just buy enough time for the, just for chase around this T-wall, we can get the gen done in the background on this. Oh wait, no, Andrew can't be slugged. He's no mither. That's not good. And Sizz can just commit that generator all the way over at 1 as well.
Unbreakable. We have Andrew up. We have Andrew up with no mither. Cash still has Unbreakable lit, which means he didn't use his Unbreakable when he was quickly. Someone rotated and picked him up. Andrew taking the chase over to Shaq. I think Sen's completely convinced that Cash won't be able to pick himself up, but Sizz is working the last gen. We miss a sword onto Andrew. If we down Andrew on this side of it, we have to pick up what we can't stun because there's no mither. Sen is pretty convinced at this point that Sizz, actually no, does he need to get picked up? We see the last gen done in the background.
He has used it.
Yes, okay. So I interrupted you. I have to go ahead.
No, it's okay. I mean, I was fairly sure that was the case considering how much pressure they had on the board. If they didn't, my god, that would have been so much. But nevertheless, we're going to go all the way back down to our slug as well. We really need to find our other survivor here, who is Sizz. Oh my, he's put in a predicament. So we know that the slug is on the floor. We're scared of the unhook as well. Sizz is going to rotate all the way down to Cash to pick him up. So once that happens, he'll just know where Sizz is on the map, regardless of if Sizz goes for the pickup or if he goes for the unhook at this point in time. Now, Sen just kind of revving up his chainsaw. This is really close. I didn't think it'd be this close, but he's just really going in the wrong positions, and us being as the casters knowing that he's on the other side, we're like, go the other side. But Sizz playing absolutely incredible for what it's worth. I can't lie. This man just sitting behind the rock waiting for the perfect opportunity to pick up his teammate. He does have a lot of time considering Andrew is first hook at the moment. So now we do know that Sen's going to be going all the way down to the top side. We see the pickup and he knows that that would have been all the way down where he had slugged that survivor who was Cash. Now we see Cash rotating all the way down. He doesn't have anything to work with at the moment, so a quick M1 is going to spell him down on the floor again. So what does Sizz do once more? Does he go for the pick? Does he go for the pull on the hook? Or, oh, wait, we're forcing the pull. This could lead me to believe that we're trying to get outs on the door. No? Oh, we're actually going for the pull. That's absolutely crazy.
8 stages.
Wait, sorry, we need what? 8 stages? Oh
we need
my god.
8 stages to win, so we need Andrew out the door. We can't die here, so we need 2 people out.
Oh, sorry. I said I wasn't good at math. Sorry.
Okay, you said something so fast and so loud it made me shit myself a little bit, but yeah, we need 8 stages on the board, so we need 2 people out. Sizz is fresh, Cash is on the hook too, so we need to get a door open. We need Sizz out the door. We need either Andrew or Cash out the door. It doesn't really matter, but we got a hook in the middle. We see Cash coming through on the unhook, and I think given just the amount of pressure you can exude here by slugging Cash, I think as long as Andrew's on the door, he is on the door. This is likely probably the, we take the BT hit. That's Babysitter coming through in play. So we're going to be able to use our Babysitter to just outrun the Billy, but Cash trying to take it down for Sizz. But Andrew getting sniped. He can't afford to slug that though. He has to pick it. That's no better. He can just stay in front of the door, slug with no better. There's no worries. Then going to go break a pallet here. Cash is deep-wounded. I don't know where Sizz is. We've lost him. It's coming down to the wire here. It could honestly go either way depending on how the survivors play, but at the moment it is in gospel play as we do see Cash opening a door on the other side of the gate. All we need to do is get Andrew, Cash, and Sizz out the door, and we should have an 8-stage result, which does mean the Billy said we'll go towards gospel, but we're coming in for a blue saw. Andrew is up. We've interrupted the survivors here. Andrew is running away from the door instead of just getting down next to it, but we need Cash or Andrew to get out. I think Sen's kind of just shitting in his pants a little bit. He's not really concerned about what's going on. He needs to get Sizz, but Sizz is just hiding in the main building. He needs to get towards one of the open doors and go for a hatch play, but he's just... It's a bit awkward, really, because Sen's just rallying his saw. Cash is at the gate, so he can get out. That's 2 stages. Andrew needs to go open the other door, which is exactly what he's doing. He's running over to the other gate, opening the other door, as Sen just sort of camps the door here, trying to find Sizz out of position. Sizz is the big ticket winner there. If he downs Sizz, Cash and Andrew have to go for the save. So Sizz needs to get his successful stealth here, but Andrew's on the other door. Sen has either clocked Sizz on the other side of the map, but no. Sizz is crouched over by the... Oh, God, it's so close. So but he's rotating over to the other gate. With him rotating over the gate, Sizz is out, and this will mean a gospel win as Andrew just phase tanks Sen's saw to cancel him out of it. And this will be Sizz and Cash out the gate in probably about 3 seconds or so, Hunter.
Yep, they win. That is absolutely crazy. You love to see it on the side of gospel, 110%. The big tea bags coming in as well because they know that they were able to get away with that. Oh my, that was so close. He was meters away from just losing that whole thing for his team. But yes, they were able to pull it back for what seems to be now, once we hook our last survivor, Andrew, a 7-stage game. And welcome back, everyone. We'll be seeing the Gospel Killer Nu take the spot for the Spirit set on the side of Gospel. So on the side of Zetsubo, you have Kibaki, Sen, and Stract as well. We're going to be loading into the Suffocation Pit. So across the whole season, we've definitely seen a lot of outs on the side of Spirit being on a harder map for her, 100%, a bigger map, a choke map, if you will. But with these killers in particular, knowing who's playing killer, knowing it's going to be Nu now and Baki the next set, is definitely doable that they can potentially have the 4K these teams. So I'm going to be seeing Nu load into the match now over at the one side of the map, and looking at our gen spread, there is a 3-gen all the way at the bottom side, which means that there are a lot of gens on the top side, Smonk. Remember the last time we loaded into the Suffocation Pit and how many gens were on the top side?
Yeah, I do remember, and unfortunately the killer at the time didn't capitalize on, but we find Baki straight off the rip, and oh, that's a nice early tag we found there, and worth noting as well, Spirit is, that was a short phase, so we might even be able to reach Baki before he gets to the shack pallet, if we're lucky, but no, he does thankfully make that shack pallet. They're pre-dropping it, playing for his life, but we have 4 gens on the other side of the map. Agitation is in place. Spirit has been moved down to the A tier though, so we have things such as Painters in our disposal. Now, Backmelon is bugged at the moment, so see this God Rock here, get used to seeing it, because there's going to be a lot of them available to the survivors here, which is unfortunately we do find Baki rotating way to the, probably one of the many extra God Rocks we're going to see on this map, as we are going to go for another phase here. Baki playing it very well. We see a lot of survivors, but no, he's able to rotate over to this God Pallet Rock once again, playing to his life, as we see Zetsubo immediately on the generators, bringing that 4-gen on the side of the map, but thankfully able to get walk down Baki, but no, a bit of a click there, able to rotate around, but thankfully getting Baki down. on that short swing there. We do have Champion Light fixated there, so we can see some little mind games there. As against Spirit, you can do the old quick with the Champion Light fixated and just silently make your way over to wherever you want to go. So it's a very deadly combo there, especially on Spirit. But we're not opting to go for a Painter's here. We are actually hooking Basement. Very interesting for new here, as no, we're not going to be Paintersing any generators that are high progress, and instead maybe banking on our Painters later in the game, as we see Zetsubo already breaking those generators that are pretty close to it on the main building side of the match, and I think Noo's just going to try and hold this Shack 3 gen instead of worrying about the gens at the main side. Now that we look at them, they are pretty far apart. Like, yeah, there's 4 on one side of the map, but they're pretty far apart. You can maybe get away with phasing up there, playing a bit of Eruption and coming back down, but he's just going to be holding his choke point as Stract is slowly stealthing down to get that unhook there. We do have Will Make It as well, and he's successfully made his way down here, and I'm curious to see that Adjustment Measures isn't banned despite its buff being increased to 20% per injured survivor, as well as Will Make It. We're going to be seeing some very fast heals on the survivor side here, Hunter.
Yeah, definitely, and as we do Operation Save Baki out of the basement, he's going to have to find a way to go all the way down to the bottom side, as we are going to be having to flip the map. I don't know if Noo's going to allow that, playing the body blocks. He's being peepo fat right now, but he's not able to down Baki. That must have been the last second of his endurance effect, but nevertheless, not really much for Baki to work with, having to do a little bit of unorthodox pathing to be able to reach this pallet, and just going down as well. The rollback is absolutely crazy. That is so unfortunate he wasn't able to get that stun and buy himself enough time for his teammates to get a little bit more gen progress. We do see Stract over in the background, and he's a godforsaken big party hat like he's been bringing the whole damn season. But we do take the hook onto Baki now, and again, Operation Save Baki continues. We're breaking these rocks and these fillers all the way down the bottom side of the map. There is still that 3-gen as we get the generators over at the top side more progress. We're going to let the bro cook on hook for a little bit longer while we continue to work the generators, but we've spotted someone out over at this 3-tar, but we've opted to go back to the hook now once kicking it and applying Eruption. We're just going to be going on a little bit of gen patrol. We know that the survivors are just playing a little bit more aggressive on the generators at the moment. We do see that Stract is walking at the moment. I'm fairly sure he is our sprint burst player, yes, and now he's going to be utilizing this tile all the way at 8. Going to be vaulting the window. It is a jungle gym, a very strong tile, so some very nice RNG on the side of the survivors. We see Key rotating in for the save right about now, so Operation Save Baki is coming in, and coming in hot. It's going to be a trade on the hook. We do hope that this is our unbreak player, and Baki's going to have to rotate all the way through the middle of the map, and now the chase starts. The 1v1 starts with only 1 health state remaining at the moment. We're going to be seeing Nu going into phase, playing around this Ormond tile and then pre-dropping it, but playing it really patiently. Very well done by Baki, able to win that. Nu also playing very around it very well, is trying to mind game Baki into vaulting that pallet once more, but no, he's opted to go all the way down as far as bottom top side as possible. Now he's going to be utilizing all this edge map rubbish and just unfortunately going down, but we do manage to get a bottom generator done for the result of it, which is really well done by our survivors at the moment. So that'll be popping anytime soon. We're going to be probably seeing someone rotate all the way for key save, which is going to cause a little bit of a predicament, because I do say that we're going to be hooking our survivor in mid. Oh, no, wait, we're able to get it at a good time and not being caught out for it, but still 3v1. I'm not too sure what our generator is looking like. We do have one here at 5. We do have one here at 7. And I do think the other one is actually on the top side, Smonk.
It is on the top side, so I was saying, Setsubo very keenly aware they were cranking that motor. They want to break that 3-gen nice and early, but we do find Key here, dying edge map. He will be able to get a little bit of an agitation over to his pain res, but with that, I'm assuming that was a lithe or a sprint burst. I don't really know what this was exhaustion-wise from Key. They gave him that speed, but it was lithe, I guess. It just happened silently. I didn't hear Lalo's notification, but anyway, we're going to be able to agitation our way up to a pain res hook, which we'll be able to pop that gen that Sen is working on. But at this point in time, it is looking like stages, which is expected result for Spirit. You're not going to be seeing many 4Ks, I think, on a map like Suffocation Pit, even if she is 80 and has access to stronger perks. And so I have less access to things like Dead Hard, Deadly, etc. We do see Stratus lurking and stalking nearby, hiding behind a fire barrel with his big-ass hat, his goofy little hat, as Sen does work the gen. But, no, the gens aren't too bad, actually. It's sort of like in the choke point, so it's not that bad of a gen, actually. So we do have a decent little through Gen in quotation marks, as they are still relatively close to each other. And I think at this point in time, Nu just wants to play for his fresh hooks as he does commit to Stracty, who is rotated all the way over to a tile. But unfortunately, this will be a very quick down here. No eruption yet, as we won't be getting any Gen regression on the side of Sen's Gen, which is slowly creeping up in the progress there. But we're going to be thankfully able to get our pain res there, and then hopefully get an eruption tag onto that generator and follow up to a down to Key, or potentially a tag to Sen. We are hooking right next to Gen as well, so if we wanted to, we could play super patiently and just sort of camp the hook and just play it super defensively, as we got the hook right next to the highly progressed Gen. But Key is working a generator on the other side of the map, which will be able to sort of split the pressure there a little bit. We do find Sen here by Godrock, but Sen's not the type of person you want to be chasing in any scenario there, as I think News has realized, well, I can just kind of camp this hook now, have the generator slowly passively regress due to pain res, and just, you know, have a grand time, talk to Stract, ask him how he's going, question his fashion senses. And honestly, I'm keen for the summer collection coming out soon, because Ace is going to be in a Speedo, and there's going to be some absolutely disgusting combinations with that cosmetic. We're going to be seeing Tuxedo Aces with the big hat and the green Speedo, which will be disgusting, but I'm keen to see it. But yeah, no, pretty happy to just camp this out. He knows that someone's working the John on the other side of the map. I'm assuming he's probably seen Key down here as well. This gen's actually pretty highly progress, and ideally you get a quick tap onto Key and then force that Sperm in a worse spot and go to basement hook onto him, and then, you know, kick that gen with eruption, then rotate away, get it down onto Stract again, and then start regressing the gens a bit more. But we are taking the chase off the Key. He has our life player, so I wouldn't be surprised if he does try and get that speed boost, and he does, but unfortunately that result in a quick down there. Unfortunately, no eruption, as we weren't able to kick the gen due to it being still regressing, and we are going to be going for a reset onto Stract instead of applying for Gen Pressure Hunter.
We're at a stalemate once more. We have two healthy survivors. We have one on the floor at the moment. It could really go either way. But as I say that, we have caught out Stract just sitting around in mid, kind of hoping for the best. And now he's going to be trying to utilize the firecracker to blind Nu, but it's not going to be working out in his favor. He's going to vault the window into bottom mid. But now we're going to opt to go for this generator over at 3, where we know Sen's been working, and he's going to get tagged. This is actually kind of turned on its head for the survivors once more. Now that Sen's injured, and now that we got the pick up onto Key, he has the potential to go straight down again. Nu's just playing really, really, really well. I think maybe the play's probably just for Sen to crank that generator over at 3 and then just have the chase of your life on the side of Key, and maybe Stract just play for the just to preserve Key's life. And oh no, that is just so unfortunate for Key, but very well played by Nu to be able to recognize where the survivors are on the tiles. He hasn't really screwed up at any point in the trial at the moment. He's just playing really well around his mechanics, around just playing around sound even. So now going all the way back down to where this generator was being progressed over at 7. So even though the generators are technically, in quotations, spread apart, it is still really, really hard to do with eruption at our agitation at our disposal here, Smog. It's just doing absolute bits for when we're hooking survivors, especially when we need to get close, nice and close to that 3 generator. And now the call-out's coming in for Sen to be leaving that generator and rotate all the way down to the top side as far as possible. And he's going to be able to continue that, knowing that Gen all the way down at the bottom side is only probably around not even halfway done, and he's going to have to opt to chase Sen here around this. Is Sen going to be able to last long enough? What's going to be happening here? Are they doubling? I would say they were doubling, and they are. It is 7 that is going to be popping, and we are potentially going to be seeing outs if he isn't able to capitalize on the fact that one of them is injured at the moment. And oh no, you definitely get outs in this scenario. I don't see a world where you don't, Smog.
Yeah, you're definitely getting out. So he did play that 3v1 really well, but unfortunately, I'm just not able to get that pain res in time. And we do have resilience Key as well opening that door. But if Nu's able to interrupt that, that'd be huge. We see Key working the gen over there, but unfortunately, Nu's just kind of hovering around, trying to find Stract probably. But ideally, we just kill Sen on the hook. If we're able to find Stract, that's huge. We do find Stract over here at the edge of us, so that does force him out the gate. We do have another phase coming up as well, so we might even be able to get a kill onto Stract. I don't think he's going to be rotating up map for Old Mate, as seems like a bit of a death wish as we go for the fast shot onto the Z1, not quite coming through here. I do wonder where Key is. Key's just in the door, stealthing just a little bit there. Maybe Nu thinking that they're going for the on hook, but no, we're just taking the hook onto Mr. Stract here. And then this will be Key's on death hook, so this is going to be 11 stages, which honestly, all things considered, that's pretty good. That's a pretty good result here. I think Nu's not really fully aware that Key's just kind of stealthing in the exit gate. I think he thinks Key's rotated up to get sent off the hook, but now he's rotating down to potentially go for the unhook here. As no, we just see Key taking the outs. He's not risking any saves on Distractor, give him any 4K zeros. There's 11 stages for Spirit A tier. That's pretty good. I feel like that's a really good result, and if you're new, you got to be happy with that. I think he was vying for a 4K 1 maybe, but I guess it's 5-team like Zets are both 11 stages of... Hello, everybody. Welcome back to OSL Season 3 Grand Finals. Gospel vs Setsubo. Heavy is the crown that weighs on Baki, as it's all up to him to prevent Zetsubo from facing a 4-1 defeat. Last game we saw in the Spirit set, knew this is Gospel's pick, by the way. He got an 11-stage result with Key barely scraping out the door there. And that means that Gospel simply need to get 10 stages out the door, and they take it all home this grand final. They become our Season 3 champions. But Baki, he has to stop that. He has to get 4K at any point in the game to win it all. And loading in here, we do have a bit of a different build here. We have Painter's Eruption Corrupt, but we also have Call of Brine, which doubles as both a little bit of extra passive slowdown as well as information on when they're working generators. So a nice little comfort perk that did get buffed in the Spring Trap chapter patch. So I'm keen to see if it does play off value for him. But loading in here, Gospel are known for a pretty strong early game here with their stealthing. As I say that, though, I'm going to be eating my words as Catch is found right off the rip here at main, running straight towards his God Rocks. Now, hopefully we don't see as quick of an early start as we saw on the side of Zetsubo, but running up to the top corner here of the map here, we do have a gold filler, but with a cheeky little phase from back, we might even be seeing a quick 2-tap, and we do see the 2-tap there as we vaulted into the husk and got stuck there. Unfortunate plays for Cash, as such an early down might be not what you need if you're Gospel here, Hunter.
No, definitely not when you're chasing outs as like your win con, and now taking the hook onto Cash, we're going to be breaking this pallet and going all the way back down to the central side. That is a pain race hook, so whatever progress at on the first generator was done will now be all gone. Well, not all gone, but fairly gone. We do see the generators starting up once more as well in the background, so we're back on the gens. We got a hook. We got someone rotating in for the save. We're just going to play a little bit more defensive. Is Baki going to try and camp this out for second stage, or is he going to play aggressive on the generators? Well, we have yet to see that. He is kind of just looking around, and he has heard this generator over at 3, and he does see the crouching survivor, who I do believe that is Andrew at the moment, playing a little bit of the mind games around the corners and trying to catch him out. But no, it is new. Sorry, it's new. Oh my god, I cannot tell my survivors apart sometimes with the Discord streams, and my old age eyes nevertheless will be going all the way back down to the hook, and we're just going to try and camp cash out 2-second, and that's not going to be happening because we have seen somebody who was rotating for the save, and the FTP coming in crash hot, which is Sizz. Now, I dare say that he's just going to be put straight back on the hook. This is going to be another pain res used very early on in the trial, so a lot of early game pressure at the moment. I'm not too sure if utilizing pain res is really worth it at a point in time like this, but nevertheless, I'll trust in Baki. I'll see what he has to do. So there's 2 stages on the board with 2 fresh, and we're just going to opt to try and find where Cash went, try and get that tunnel out onto him. But he's playing really smart, just kind of hiding out behind main as well. Not too sure if we've seen him or heard him on the side of Baki, but I think we have, to be honest. And that's what we we heard him breathing. That's remarkable. That is definitely telltale signs of a Spirit main. Letting Baki play Spirit is absolutely crazy to me. I know Nu's very good on the Spirit, and this is a very it is one of their most picked sets at the moment, but my god, I definitely wouldn't be picking that as one of my sets on the side of Gospel, knowing that Baki's on the other team, Smog.
Yeah, we're showing why you don't really want to be doing that. Interesting pathing from Sizz here. I thought he would just run it straight down mid with the endurance he has left, but no, he's sort of pathing towards edge, and I don't really know why, as he's about to run out of endurance any moment now, and he's just going to go back down immediately. I don't know what that play was. We're not on an S tier set, mate. We don't have Deliverance or Deli or DS or anything like that, but we do find New here playing a bit of mind games, trying to take the chase and the heat off of Cash as he is rotating down to the middle of the map here, which is fantastic to see now. He is on Death Hook. Back, he's able to get a kill on 4 gens here. It's going to mean big trouble for Gospel, and it's looking more and more likely this is going to be a 4K result. We're going to be going over to the clown set as Cash is down. And I said heavy is the crown that weighs on Baki's head, but he's wearing it with pride with an explosive start here. We see the pickup from Sizz in the background, and Baki wants more. He's hungry, he's greedy. He wants a quick little tag into Andrew before he goes back and gets the pickup for Cash, but no. We're slowly rotating away from Cash here, but he has crawled under a pallet. I don't think anyone's nearby, as we know that 2 people are nearby, but we get the stun from Andrew. Andrew was nearby for that save there, but no dice from him, as Andrew is going to be going and rotating away, but no sprint burst or anything here, so we will be seeing... Oh, no, he sold it! That would have been a fantastic power save, but just unfortunately getting body blocked there. Thankfully, not getting a free tag to do there as well, but no, we're dead at 4. 4 hooks on the board. We've still got so much gen pressure to do. This gen is such high pressure, and Cooler Prime is eating away into it, and we still got to break this 3 gen at main. It's not looking good for Gospel. We're going to be going to Clan and Clan as that's supposed to pick. Hell, we might even be seeing the Dark Lord come out, Hunter.
Yeah, if they could keep up this kind of pressure at the moment, definitely on the side of Zetsubo. But nevertheless, now we're going to be taking chase onto Sizz now, who will be caught out over at 1. And yes, with the death so early on at the moment, it's just looking really dire for our survivors at the moment. They're going to have to really pull something out of the hat. But this is Gospel we're talking about. We know what they're capable of. We know they can have just chase and chase and chase on end. So... you know, Baki really needs to get the tags on the board at the moment again and keep the pressure going at the moment, because we do know, even though the numbers don't show it, there is some decent progression around the map on the generators. We do hear one being highly progressed in the background, and I do think there might be one all the way over at the bottom side, but nevertheless, we're going to continue on the chase onto Sizz, and he's just going to be going down in the eruption proc onto 2 at the moment. So yeah, the bottom generator is about 70% at the moment. I do believe that is somewhere over around 7. I'm not too sure if Sizz has been pain res. Never mind. He was the person to unhook Cash just before he had got tunneled out. So it makes no sense to really look for a pain res, even though I don't think we had any in the vicinity. So now we're just going to go back to this generator that had some progress on it over at 2. We know a survivor is kind of over here. We know that there's someone over at the bottom side of the map. We don't really care about that. They are hiding in the locker. It is Andrew. He is just a little bit of a cheeky bastard hiding in that locker. Very well played by Andrew, but nevertheless, Baki's just going to be protecting this hook. You know, Sizz doesn't have a lot of time to really spare once being hooked, so Andrew knowing, Baki knowing that there is one survivor that's just unable to do the generator. Oh, it was over at top side. Wait, they broke the 3 gen. I'm smashed. I thought that was bottom side. What am I talking about?
Yeah, breaking the 3 gen like that's huge for Gospel. I was having a bit of a giggle because Andrew's kind of stuck in that locker. He couldn't leave it because Baki was both camming the power and also just kind of staring at that locker, so he wasn't able to leave. But Andrew playing super aggressively on that generator as well. But also we're going in for a 1-for-1 onto Syzygy here as Andrew's trying to get away with it. But Baki's going for the body blocks, which he does successfully do. But no, Andrew's able to make it in there for a quick little save there. Leader coming in clutch. We might be able to even go in for a bit of a BT take, but no, that doesn't mean anything. This is going to be rotating down to the bottom side of the map. This is also our second win here, so Baki does need a hidden through endurance, which he successfully does. So thankfully that didn't end up in a grab because I think that was a medium, but this allows us to go all the way down to the bottom side of the map, die in shack, allows Andrew to recover. New's probably just cranking a gen while Andrew recovers on the floor there. Sizz is deathlock as well, which will force a 2v1. Unfortunately, Baki's just too fast in the phase, and Sizz will be going down without being able to rotate towards anything. But no, oh my god, New's rotated all down to bottom side, and he gets found on! Yeah, we've sold it here. It's a bit of a steam sale on the side of Gospel here with the amount of selling we're doing, but unfortunately we are also... They get the cracker save, cracker blind onto Baki, but this is going to be a 4k2 here on the side of Gospel, Hunter.
Yeah, it's looking like that way. My god, I didn't know we were so close to the final survivor. I don't really know what was happening there, but now picking up New, that will be the 4k2 that we needed to go to the next set. So, you know... Oh, just to pull it back to, we're at 3-2 now at the moment as it stands for set points once we hook everyone from in the trial. And we're going to be heading into the clown set as well, which is a pick of Zetsubo. My god, yeah, you're right. We might be actually seeing the Dark Lord set. This is absolutely crazy. I wouldn't have imagined this starting up this stream and just thinking that it'd even go down to those kind of numbers, but... Sorry?
So sorry, go ahead, finish what you're saying.
No, it's okay. I was kind of running out of things to say at this point in time because we're kind of just looking for the last survivors. Is there fresh on the floor or something? Am I missing something?
I think Andrew's fresh. I don't think he's been hooked. Yeah, there he is. This is our fresh hook. But Sizz, or of course Deathlock, but we do find Andrew fresh. Thankfully no bleeders here. But not that it mattered anyway, I think. But it's looking grim for Gospel. Like, it's not good. We're going into 2 sets that they are not favored to win at all. Clown is Zetsubo pick, so they would have practiced it a ton. And the tiebreaker of Dark Lord, we're probably going to be seeing Baki on Dark Lord, and Baki's scary on a lot of killers, and I think Dark Lord's also another one of them. I did hear in an interview being said on Twitter that Zezabel were pretty confident that if it does come to Dark Lord, Baki would pop off onto it. So hopefully Gospel flashed up on their Dark Lord, because if they haven't, then it's gonna be a reverse sweep in favor of Zezabel, which would be insane, all things considered, you know. But 2-point goes towards Zezabel now. We're 3-1. It comes down to Clown. If Zetsubo win Clown, it's 3-3. We go to the tiebreaker of the Dark Lord, and it's looking scary for Gospel. But that all being said, we're going to be going into a short.
And welcome back, everyone, to the Clown set, where we will be seeing Baki from Zetsubo on the Clown. The Survivor side, on the side of Gospel, you have Sizz, Nu, Cash, and Andrew. This, to be going to the 6th set of the night, is so good in and of itself. Clown on Cold Tower 1 though. We've only seen one Clown set in the entire series, in the entire group stage, and that was at the very start of the season, where I do believe it was Lyra San Marine making their debut against Fredo. So it'll be really interesting to see how this goes. Having not really seen much gameplay myself amongst this balancing, funny enough, I really want to know what's going to be happening. And now Baki loading into the one side of the map, the survivors loading in on the bottom side of the map. We're going to be seeing if we can find out any of our survivors. Very stock standard stuff, you know, being on the Cold Tower 1, the renowned starting comp map, if you will, other than Wrecker's Yard. But trying to look around this 5 tile to see if anybody's stealthing around. We're not quite finding anyone. They've already rotated to the bottom side, where we see Cash just in Shack at the moment in the locker. So they're playing this really well, you know. Being able to break free like that is it's definitely really, really good for the Survivor side anyway. Baki just kind of struggling to find the first chase at the moment, and just going to be rotating, going back on Gen Patrol. I think he has to do at this point in time. We do see him load up the bottles and kind of patrol this mid area, and we do spot our first survivor of the trial, and I do believe that is, if my eyesight serves me correctly, Nu on the ace at the moment, taking chase all the way down to Shack, where it's Cash. I'm lying. Anyway, we're going to be continuing on the chase to Cash over at the Shack side of the map, using the bottles effectively, but pre-dropping that pallet and being able to buy enough distance to make all the way down to the 5 side once more is Cash. He's not going to be able to loop the Shack once more, and I think he's going to be getting hit through this accordingly. No, he's going to be making the pallet just in time. Going to have to be doing a little bit of mind games on the side of Baki. He's got the long wall, 4 walls, unfortunately, so definitely in the favor of the survivor there. Cash being able to vault the window and make away from the chase without being hit at the moment, and going all the way down to 4. He's having a really good chase. He has a gold rock to work with now, pre-dropping the pallet and playing around the long side, going all the way back down to 5, and we're really struggling to get this first hit, even not just the first down. We're going to be able to hit Cash with the bottle, and we're able to hear him via the scream. And I can only imagine that maybe the survivors are 3-splitting the generators here, which would be very scary and very crucial to be done. And now Cash just having, it's just, this chase has gone on for a little too long, unfortunately, but we're going to be going down before any generators pop, which is also, I guess, a little bit of a plus in our favor. We do see Sizz rotating for the save at the moment very early. We see Nu on the generator over at that hill gen over. I do believe that is 6. We're getting a main done as well, breaking the infamous Cold Tower 3 gen. All things considered, the survivors are playing really, really, really well.
Yeah, we do see the gen pop in the back, and we're seeing main pop as well, but we do manage to drag basement. There is a 3 gen around this basement that the survivors are going to need. Oh my god, Cash wiggles out. Incredible greed from Baki, not quite working out in his favor. I don't think it's going to mean much though, unless we get some hit tanks going, but we do have a pallet over here. I'm not too sure if we go live in the books or not, but Cash is going to have to book it down map, but we're going to need to rotate and play around this. Maybe just a hit tank to get him out of here. He's going to go die main, right? Like, you can't have him die here. Look at how close all these fucking gens are, man. Like, we have a double hit tank coming through here. We're successfully able to get the tag onto Nu. We see another gen pop in the background, but all the gens are now towards Shack. We have a 4 gen Shack side. Cash is not able to make it there, but we have Sizz coming in for a hit take, but Sizz is rotating back into the gens. He can't afford to do that. He's running out into the opening. He needs to have Andrew rotate in for another hit take, or else he's just going to get dragged into mid-map, and with that down there, he's going to have to drag into the middle of this, probably a 4 gen. Like, against Clown, that's a pretty damn good gen, and with a bit of haste as well as agitation, he's going to be able to drag him all the way into a painters in the middle of these generators here. 2 inches on the board. We're going to have Cash and Nu probably resetting over by main building, but Andrew needs to play aggressive for these gens, and just everyone needs to go die bottom. We can't have anyone die anywhere, even near mid. We need to die edge map 12. That's where the death has got to be afterward, but it's a bit of a hard question to ask against the Clown, especially because we've already used a good chunk of the resets on this side of the map. We see the resets coming through on both the Survivor end, and I think Baki is well aware that Andrew's going to be lurking and stalking around this area, and look at these. Oh, actually, we have Andrew working a gen that's actually decently high progress, but it's also just out of the 3 gens. So this is probably the safer gen to work here, and we are going to be applying not Eruption because the perk isn't equipped. You dingus, but it looks like we have both Cash and Andrew both going for that as we get a unhook coming through onto Sizz here. And honestly, this is the type of start you want Gospel to have. They're having an absolute bang over Clown match. I was expecting a massacre, but no, with some great body blocks from there. This allows Sizz to go towards the side of that, but he doesn't warrant into a goddamn wall. But again, this crappy 4-lane here, they've been cursed with, but thankfully we do have a God Rock here connecting the 4-lane, which will allow Sizz to play it around a little bit better. But with some well-timed bolts, we're going to be able to rotate around towards the side of the God Power, but we need to die in an appropriate spot. And he's going to be too emoting here. I don't think anyone's going to be nearby for a potential beamer save, but we're just going to be picking up and then trying to drag him towards the top side of the map here. And with a little bit of the yellow bottles being loud out here, I think with this haste, we should be able to get towards that little painter's hook that's in the middle of the 3 gen. So unless we get some hit takes here, I think we're going to be seeing a successful hook. Even with the hit take here, he's just going to be able to get this hook anyway. This is why we got to die deep 12, but it's just a bit hard against the Clown, isn't it, Hunter?
No, it definitely is, yeah. And to get out of this situation definitely is hard, but it's definitely not not doable. So, like, even though the 3 gen's really tight, you still have 4 survivors on the map, to be honest. So, like, you know, 2-2 split on like 2 each way with survivors like this as well. You know, one tanks a hit for the other. They rotate all the way down to the bottom side and they start resetting as well. This definitely is breakable. It is kind of shit, don't get me wrong, but like at the same time, just they're definitely more than capable of breaking, especially now that they're on all the way over at 5 as well. So Baki's going to have to push the survivors off the generators here. He does know someone's rotating in for the save at the moment, and they're just not scared. They know he's not going to commit this. He might commit for 1 tag and then go back if he has the time to at the moment, but he's in a precarious scenario where he kind of has to protect the hook at the same time because he knows somebody's over there for the save, and he does commit for the tag, and that is the unhook coming in. And I do say that he needs someone fresh. He needs the FTP coming in the background as well. He needs someone who's going to be pain resistant, but he needs to down them early enough so he doesn't actually lose the game. But now the hit takes coming in as well, and they're just going to be cranking out that 5 gen now. Just they've bought so much time. I don't even know if he makes it back there in time, having it being half progressed at the moment. We do see somebody rotating off it and that running all the way down to the corner 5, and it is Sizz. And everybody's going to be injured on the board after this tag comes in. No Sloppy Butcher is going to make this really, really hard at the moment. If only we brought Sloppy, but nevertheless, we're going to be reloading our bottles and trying to... What do you do on the Survivor side? I think the important thing is you need to start to get resets, and you need to make sure that everybody is nice and healthy. On the side of the Killer, you just need to make sure that the generators are regressing through passive regression once they've been kicked at the moment, and you just can't allow any of the survivors to get back on the generators. But once everybody is healthy again, it's just going to spell trouble for Baki at the moment, because it's still very hard to hold that 3 gen with 4 survivors in the trial, especially if they're all healthy.
Yeah, we do find the reset as well, happening in main. New trying to rotate to the top side of the map here, but he's just going to be able to get down. But with no eruption, that gen's not going to get slowed down at all. But thankfully, this is one of our pain reses, which is going to be huge to interrupt that 5 gen, as you said, Hunter. But we've also got a decent little hill hook here, but I think he's just going to opt to hook him 11 on this pain res, get his pain res, interrupt that gen, and then Cash and Andrew are going to have to reset before they're able to, you know, apply any pressure onto 5. But I do wonder if Sizz was going for that 5 gen, because it was already dry kick, so it's probably regressed a good bit. And honestly, we see Cash working. I think that's not even 5. That's a completely different gen. Yeah, it's a completely different gen as well. So they are actually splitting the gen, on the pressure on the gens. And we see Andrew's reset getting topped up there, as we do find, I think this is Cash on the Jake Park rotating back down. Trying to play this Godfather to the best of his ability, but with a bit of a haste bottle and some well-placed pink bottles, I think this should be a down onto Cash, which does mean he's going to die in the gens. But no! A bit of a ambitious swing from Baki does mean Cash is going to be able to play the rock filler just a little bit more. A cheeky fake gets him around the rock, potentially another vault there, but another fake from Cash makes it so that we can rotate around. And it's going to have to be Sizz coming in for a hit take there, allowing Cash to rotate all the way back down to main. This is where you want to die if you're Cash, but thankfully with a bit of a fake reload, it forces Cash out of the pallet and into a medium for the window. But with his ping, that's going to be a down. But Sizz here, but we see the jet popping in the background. Adrenaline on new. We get the hook onto Cash, but I think Cash is death hook, if I'm not mistaken, so we might even see a slug happening, and then going for someone like New or Andrew, who's worth way more points. Andrew is the last fresh, I believe, unless Cash is fresh and I'm talking out my ass, Hunter.
He's fresh at the moment, so it definitely is looking like a 6th stage at the moment. So not the worst thing in the world, but all things considered, like you just knew as soon as even though that 3-gen was looking really rough, just having 4 survivors on the map is so strong, and you can definitely see why Gospel, all it takes is decent survivors, and Gospel being the survivors they are, just being really good, are able to break that accordingly. Like, they're just absolutely crazy and played out of their minds. But nevertheless, we're just going to be, making sure that Cash dies on the hook and securing that 6th stage. It would be silly to go for this, in my opinion. I can't lie. I don't see any world why we should. We are going for it, but this is so risky. You just risk more stages at the moment. It can be dicey. So, but we do see Baki just kind of, patrolling the gate, patrolling the hook at the same time.
Going for it. What the fuck?
I'm just not too sure. I mean, maybe Smog. I don't know. Am I crazy for thinking this is a bad idea?
You're not crazy. No, you're not. And with a little bit of a bottle there, Andrew's going to get interrupted twice as well. And it's a steam cell with how much we're selling here. What the fuck are we doing, Gospel? We could have 6 stage, but now we're feeding him a potential, much more than that. And Andrew's fresh. We're getting another fresh hook. We're just giving him more stages than he needs to. We could have just walked out and let him die. I just don't know what Gospel's doing here. I'm a little bit pissed off, if I'm honest. You can hear me banging on my chair like a monkey because Gospel are playing like a bunch of monkeys. We fed a fresh hook here, which is really unfortunate, onto Andrew, which is more points and stages on the board that need to be happening. Now, if we do reset, we're next to a couple doors that are open, so we might be able to get him out. But we're going to take the time to reset, and even then, we're going to make sure Sis dies, and at the end of the day, it just wasn't bloody worth it. And what's it happen if Andrew dies here? What's this going to be? 7 stages for fresh?
7 stages, but at the same time, it's the extra stage they didn't need to give. But
and it's fresh.
No, yeah, exactly. That's correct. Wait, hang on a second. So, Cash is still. I'm so confused with the scoring at the moment because am I reading the wrong score or am I reading the right score? It says Cash is dead, but he's not dead. He's alive. Anyway, nevertheless, gonna have to be protecting this hook onto Andrew here. And I thought it was 7 stages. I'm losing my mind. I'm just gonna not disregard the stages. Are we gonna be able to get this survivor out? I'm more concerned about.
God.
Oh wait, no, it's surely not. Wait, hang on a second. He has bottles. He does have bottles. No, they get him out. They get him out. I was lying. I should have had more faith in Gospel.
Yeah, we can't count to 10, unfortunately, but we do successfully get everyone out the door, giving an extra stage.
Welcome back, everyone, to the second half of the Clown set, which can potentially be the last match if our killer on Gospel, Andrew, is able to get a 6-stage result. Now, on the Survivor side for Zetsubo, you have Stract, Baki, Sen, and Captain Key. What can they pull out of the hat? They need to pull out a 4-stage win con, which is just absolutely crazy. I mean, you'd have to play out of your mind. You're up against Andrew. You're up against... He's known for the clown. This is the killer that back in the day when we started out, and even in OCL and even in DBO, this man was just crying for the clown, wanted the clown, and he's got the clown now, so let's see what he can do. I don't think he's ever played clown on OSL, but well, he has now, so he's spawning over at the one side, likewise very similar to the last match that we had. He's going to be utilizing the haste bottle to see if he can get all the way down to the other side of the map as quickly as possible. He does see Sen trying to aggro the chase, but he's not stupid. He's not going to be able to, he's not going to be wanting any of that chase. He's going to opt to chase Baki, sticking out in the bright blue. This is why you don't wear these bright ass fits to the matches. Unfortunately, getting caught out. He's going to have to play this broken R and L tile, getting hit with the bottle in the process, and now playing the check spot over the drop pallet as well. This should be a hit, but no, being able to make that note, I joked. He is getting hit. He is running all the way down to Shaq now. I dare say he's just going to be dropping Shaq and then buying as much distance as possible that he can. It's facing a really awkward way at the moment, and he's just trying to make as much distance as he can, but he's just going to be cut off, and that's going to be a very quick down. Downer than faster than the first down of last match, Smong.
I mean, it took Sen so long to even get a tag at the start of last game, and we've already seen that get downed. We're not even bothering to get that pain resist just outside of basement. Instead, we're opting to hook in basement and maybe play around our generators here a little bit defensively. We don't have a great gen spread by Shaq, but basement's better than a normal hook, I guess, because we're missing skill checks on the side of Zetsubo, which isn't great to see, but gives our clown player here a little bit of info to go interrupt the generator maybe, and just maybe get a bit of dry kicks. But he can afford to sort of just pressure this generator a little bit by playing aggressively, maybe dry kick it even, and then we just you know, chill out in this halfway mark between the rest of the active generators and us. But we do have Alert getting a proc there on one of the survivors there. It looks like Sen's rotating around the backside of the map to get in position for a pull onto Backy. I don't think Andrew's unfortunately caught it out here as he's slowly sneaking up, but oh no, we're trying to play aggressive for the generator here. We're working main as well as a different generator. Both of them are about to pop, and I think Backy might just be hitting second stage as Sen and both the survivors don't have enough time to rotate from the position they are on the map to go for a successful save onto Backy. Andrew, thinking otherwise, has rotated back down to the basement to try and interrupt the save, but no, we're just playing aggressive for our generators as we were attempting a 3-split there, but no one nearby, no one sitting in basement for a last minute pull to Andrew. They are just doing their generators, cranking their motors, cranking that thing, and he can afford to just, once he forces the second stage here, just rotate away and play super aggressive on his generators. Maybe get some pallets out the way because he might want that painters there from back. Alternatively, he just kills them. That's also something that he can do, but working the gens here, we are splitting quite a few generators. Stract working a different gen already. That's decently high progress, and there's one thing Zetsubou have shown us is that they know how to crank a good mode. They just are machines on the gen pressure. They know how to do it. They know when is appropriate to do it, what good generators there are to do, and just they can play for them super aggressively and without any hesitation. As we see Stract rotating in for a save as 2 gens get worked in the back. And by the time we kill Backy here on the side of Andrew, we're going to be down to 1 generator. But we do have the 6th stage win con, so it's not terribly hard to get, but we do get the rapid brutality there onto Stract with a tag, so we should be able to get the follow-up down onto Backy. But no, instead we're actually going for Stract himself, getting that down onto him, and then maybe chasing Backy later, getting a pain res off of Stract. But no, whoa, I thought he was going to slug there, go for Backy because he was standing in the God Rock and playing super aggressively. But I think Andrew might want to opt for a potential pain res, but no, we're just getting a fresh hook right in front of us. Let's see the FTP actually coming out onto Key. Backy from Key. We're brutal breaking the Godfiller to zone Backy into a worse position, but we're playing on Bug McMillan. Welcome to the 40th Godfiller of the match, as we are just trying to force a power break there, and then the brutal strafe, the yellow haste bottles will allow us to catch up to Backy before he's able to get to the Shag pallet, as he will be able to get this tag right then and then. And Strack was trying to come in for a bit of a BT block, but that won't be coming through, as we are trying to catch up to Backy here, but we're out of bottles. We need to do a little bit of a reload, so we've got to try and keep Backy at this Eiffel. We have Sen nearby to potentially take a hit. If Backy wants to go for a bit of a pre-throw, he can, but I think Clown kind of wins these Eiffels if he plays his bottles correctly, and Andrew knows how to place his bottles on the Clown, but oh, he kind of buggered it up then because he just kind of gave Backy a bit of a yellow bottle there. As he's just kind of forced to drop the chase and maybe go for his pain resist, which is a more appropriate thing to do, I think. But oh, here comes Strack. He's kind of ballsed himself up here in this positioning a little bit, but this is the B tier Clown set, so he does have a decent exhaustion if possible. He tried to hop block, it didn't quite work out for him, and this will likely be a pain res onto a highly progress gen somewhere, as we do find Key as well in a poor position. But once again, 400,000 God rock fillers, and Key will be pre-dropping that to play it safe by going for the dry kick on that gen, and then the pain res onto Shaq as well as getting rid of that Godfiller, as Backy and Key are likely going to be resetting over in Main Hunter.
Yeah, this is looking really rough. That's our 4th stage of the game at the moment. So, you know, fresh hook wise there's 2 fresh hooks at the moment, 4 hooks on the board. All he needs to do realistically is camp Strack to death and it becomes a harder game. Actually, no, never mind. I didn't. Kicking this generator over at 2 now and chasing Sen, who is the healthy survivor. So if, let's see, hypothetically, if Sen dies, he wins, okay? So if he just chased Sen, downed him, and then camped him to death, he wins. We see the reset happening over at main. So there's just like so many possibilities that could happen at this point in time. Andrew just has to play this to the best of his abilities and make sure that he reaches the win con before the game is over. So now, he's just trying, I wouldn't really, that's the problem. Sen being the fresh hook and Sen being Sen, that's just gonna be absolutely, you know, it's just such a precarious scenario. I just go back. I would just go back for my tunnel outs. No, I wouldn't want any of that either, Andrew. I'm just gonna, yeah, he's doing the right thing. I agree with this play. He's gonna be spotting out Backy though. He's gonna be spotting Key, and they're gonna be kind of like struggling to get this unhook. I can't lie. Key coming in now as well. They managed to get it, so there's not really much for Strack to work with at this point. Sen over in the background still working that generator all the way over at 2, and now that's going to be popping, and we do see this generator over at 9 being the most highly progressed generator at this point in time, with like, I don't know, something like 40, like 50%, like maybe a little bit more than that, maybe about 70%. We do see one that's a little bit more, maybe on 2 pistons over in the background. No, I lied. Wait, was that after? No, he's already been pain res. Wait, no, Backy hasn't been pain res. I think there's only two stacks of pain res left, right, Spunk?
There's 3 stacks of pain res.
Oh, that's 3. Wait, what?
Pain res, yeah. So we hooked Backy basement, camped him to second, and he got away scot-free, so he's Deathhawk. Key is also fresh. So we don't need to chase that at all. We can just go chase Key. Who's not to knock Key or anything, he's not as good as Sen. But that also goes for like 90% of the region. We're doing a reset in basement, which is one of the reset spots of all time, but it's working out in their favor. So ideally we find Key, get a quick 2-tap on him, and then we just camp him to death, and then we got a big W in our pocket, right? We can also find Backy, kill him on a pain raise, get a bit of gen progress back, but once again, Sen playing aggressively here, Backy and Key taking a back seat. But honestly, Zetsubo could win this, all things considered. They've done a full reset. Andrew just keeping Sen at bay a little bit. Backy and Key walking a generator towards Shaq there, then playing super sort of passive. We can see both of them playing super passively. Sen, he's got his big boy pants on. Backy, he's blue. Dubba day, and he's going to get chased at the Shaq pallet, which is not good for him because he's not only is he Deathhook, he's also painless. So if we're able to get a quick 2-tap on Backy, that's huge, but unfortunately we weren't able to find the unhook there. We did a bit of a cracker in front of the locker, I think, to try and confuse Andrew a little bit, but Backy has still a good bit of resources here, but we're just missing our bottles. We're just throwing them a bit too low, and we can just kind of rotate over to these L-walls, and if Andrew gets run on these for way too long, it's going to be bad news bears for Gospel. But oh, a bit of a fake from Backy there, but he goes for it this time. No, he doesn't. It's a bit of a fake. As we do finally get the tag of the Backy, but that gem's going to pop in the background, and this is not good for Andrew, as this is not the person you want, and he's going to get probably 5 stages and maybe tie up the clown set. He needs to find Key and kill him, but this is going to be... No, this is 6 stages, right? Am I cooked?
This is 6. If he kills him, that's game over.
Okay, cool. So all we need to do is kill Backy, and we get a W, but we're not playing the Godfather. We're rotating over. This is going to be elite to hit decks. He's going to get out.
Wait! Hold on a second. He could actually make it out.
He's sold. Oh, it's a 50% off Steam sale. He can get out here. He didn't play the Godfather. He could have played the fucking filler, and he could have killed him, but he broke it the wrong way.
No, wait. Wait, what's happening? They're going for a reset over at the corner of main now. The body block's coming in from Sen. There is no way he makes this. Where's that on the gate? I didn't manage to see it. Was it over at 9?
9, it's 9.
It's 9! Okay, so he's just running the long side of main, pre-dropping this filler pellet here, Key rotating as well. I'm pretty sure he's going to try and get the other gate at this point in time. We see Sen just body tanking now. Wait! Hold on a second. No, the gate's over at 5. Key's gonna have to be absolutely peepo fat if they are to keep in this right now. He should have tagged Key. Wait, hold on a second. No, there's no way he gets out.
Holy fucking Key graduated from Bibby. He's actually taking good body blocks.
There's no way. I'm losing. And welcome back, everyone, to the tiebreaker, the Dark Lord set. If I sound raspy, that's because I am. I'm actually losing my voice after what that game just was. Nevertheless, it will be the big gun. We've brought out the big machine gun, Monk Nefarious, on the side of Gospel for the Dark Lord set, playing Killer first up. And on the Survivor side for Zetsubo, as always, like always tonight, it would be Stract, Key, Sen, and Backy. After their performance last set, it'd be crazy not to put them on. Nevertheless, we'll be loading in. Not like we've seen a fair bit of Dark Lord this season, so definitely. And the results just range anywhere between 10 stages, 11 stages, and 4K 1s and 2s. So definitely in that category of being one of the more closer sets, if you will. But nevertheless, we'll be going straight into bat form, straight into the wolf form over in the middle of the map. Nefarious on the laptop, I've been informed. Lol jokes, I don't think that's an actual thing. I think I'm being baited there, but nevertheless, we'll be looking for some stealth out survivors. We do see Key, who's going to be pre-dropping that pallet over at the dumpster filler over at 7 and double vaulting it. Crazy. I thought he was going to be running around the trash filler, the dumpster anytime soon, but he's going to be eating a tag and going straight towards the middle of the map. He cannot get caught by the basement. He needs to make sure that he makes out of there alive. As we do see the Lapis Lazuli add-on coming into effect, I do believe that is why the window is blocked. Correct me if I'm wrong, Smonk.
That is correct. Lapis Lazuli does block the window for a few seconds there, but we are going to continue in the chase into the Key and bat form, eyeing for great mobility there, switching into wolf form really quickly. But Nefarious, if there's one thing I do know about him, I do know that he's quite the Dark Lord enjoyer, so I'm keen to see how he performs with a decently well-paced down onto Key there now, with Dracula being S tier this season, he doesn't have access to the stronger series of perks like your Pain Resonance, so Sen will likely be able to keep the pressure on his gen going without being interrupted. We do have as well as Pop Eruption, Wretched Fate, pretty stock standard stuff. I can't really see what that last add-in is above the Lapis Lazuli. I think it's the hat, I'm not too sure, but regardless, we're going to be applying Pop to this gen there, and just using our bat to get mobility around the map here. Now, I'm curious to see how well Nefarious does do in this set, because Baki is also pretty damn good at the Dark Lord from what I've heard, so it's down to the wire in this tiebreaker, really, and I didn't think we'd be seeing the tiebreaker, but it's 3-3, and just, we're going to be finding Baki out the gate, not even taking a tag onto the man, but we are going to be taking the tag onto our probably Deliverance player then, and we do find that Key is as well our Decisive Strike Dead Hard player, who's also healthy, so Nefarious, already on the back foot in this match, is not looking really in his favor at all, as we are forcing the Wolf form, not really using Hellfire in any capacity, which is pretty strong zoning utility, but we seem pretty key to just play Wolf form here, third person Andy over here, but switching to Battlefield to catch up to Key here as he does rotate over to another power, but going to be breaking the power after TP. We see the first gen popping in the background, but I think we've lost Key a little bit. It's another gen popping in the background as well as we slowly encroach on our tunnel out, but as we know, we do have, a nice little lock and dodge from Key there, but we have a Dead Hard in play as well, so I don't even think he needed to do that. This will be a Dead Hard that will be being eaten from Nefarious onto Key, as Key will extend the chest, but even further, and if he does die here, this will also be Decisive Strike, so Nefarious needs to up his game just a little bit more. I don't know if he can afford to commit to this tunnel out. He needs to play his flashes a little bit more, as we do know, Zetsubo quite strong on the gens there, but no, missing a Hellfire onto Key. He's having a bit of a generational chase, and it's just not looking good for Nefarious as this game keeps going on and on, but we do have the bugged window, so he's not able to vault it, which does mean Nefarious gets down in Wolf form. I don't think the Decisive Strike will be back up, but if it is, it's going to be a kick in the teeth, but thankfully no Decisive Strike to be had. We do have Wretched Fate active in the background there, afflicting Sen with a bit of a regression speed penalty as we fly away and try and get our Pop Eruption and get our foot back in the game here, Hunter.
You just can't tunnel out the Decisive Strike player, dude. He just has to play for freshers at this point in time. And I think he's realized it a little bit now, going all the way down to the backside of 5 as opposed of camping out Key. Okay, actually, I was lying. Okay, we're going to try and catch out someone rotating. Okay, that's not too bad. I mean, we do see the scratch marks over a mid-10 now, and I do say there's a survivor just stealthing around here, and they're very faint, so it'll be really interesting to see where they went, but they've just kind of faded off into the distance as we go back into our wolf form, and, you know, all things considered, actually, just like, maybe we're not able to get the unhook onto Key at the moment. It's proving to be pretty difficult now, taking the chase onto Sen. He's going to be trying to dodge that Hellfire, but just get clipped by the end of it. Now going to be able to make so much distance all the way down to the 2 side, and he's just... Nefarious, aka Monk, is just going to go back to the hook and try to make sure that Key dies on hook. And now we do see the other survivor coming in hot. It is our Delhi player. It is Baki. He's going to be taking that Hellfire and going and pulling it. And we're just whiffing as well. No! You can't be letting that happen. So now do we tunnel Key out or do we just eat the Delhi? I'm not too sure, but we're opting to go for the tunnel out. And this can be proved to be pretty dangerous, especially if we force a locker right now. That's going to be a lot of time wasted, but we're going to be down in Key. We're going to eat the Decisive Strike as well, coming in 3, 2, 1, and there it is. I was going to say, and we've missed it, but no. Key hits those, now going all the way back down to the top side of the map. He still has Dead Hard at his disposal once more for the second time of the trial. Is he going to be able to hit it again? He's going to be Dead Harding, and Monk waiting it out this time, able to utilize the Hellfire, but not quite getting him. We are Dead Harding for distance a little bit there, Dead Harding out of the way of the Hellfire. Now we're going to be rotating all the way down to the 2 side, and our survivors working the generators in the background, as we haven't seen Baki get up just yet. We are still chasing Key over around the 2 side, being able to loop the trash fillers as well, going to in forever search of a pallet at the moment. We are kind of just stuck at these LNTs. This is pretty imminent for our down at the moment, and we haven't double backed that. So 3, 2, 1, and we are going down, and that will be Key out of the trial for 3 stages on the board. Currently, it'll be a 3v1 at 1 gen remaining, and it is looking pretty rough and pretty dire considering our progression at this state. We do see the generator all the way over at 50% progress at this point in time, and now we're going to be cooking Key as well, getting him out of the trial, and now we're going to be utilizing the bat form to go all the way back on gen patrol, all the way on the other side of the map, and the gen split is looking pretty good on the survivors side, if I do say so myself, Smog.
Yeah, it's looking pretty good for Nefarious. He's got his tunnel out, but it feels a little bit too little too late Oftentimes in the Dark Lord sets, we do see a lot of 4Ks, and at this point in time, it is looking like Zetsubo know how to play their 3-gen quite well. Their 3v1, sorry, quite well, and Nefarious just has a really bad gen spread to work with, and he just needs to find someone, anyone really at this point. He does find Baki, but this is our Deli player. Missing that Hellfire is really unfortunate there, but with a little bit of a wolf, we should be able to get the down successfully if we fake our R a little bit, but no, we don't have any lunges on the side of the wolf, so we will instead be trying to go for a bit of a weird break with the bats there, but we are teleporting towards the 12 side gen, trying to interrupt someone on the gens, but we do know that there's someone here, but they pre-stealthed with a nice little call from Baki indicating that he was leaving that area. We find some faint scratches and we find Sen on the Ace of Visconti here, but he's going to be able to bolt that pallet that is still down, so he has quite a few resources to work with. I don't know what exhaustion he has, but I have a feeling we're about to find out. Unfortunately, the Pharaoh's not able to make that just there, but a bit of a clicky from Sen. We do see a gen getting doubled in the backhand at this point in time. It's honestly, it's looking like a one-stage result, a 3-stage result with 1 Freshers there, and Distract's gonna be able to kick that gen, and that's gonna be a down onto Baki, but he's a Deli player as well as Sprint Burst, so he's gonna be able to rotate away over to the edge map, but it's looking really bad for Nefarious, and at this point in time, it's looking like an absolute extreme Zetsubo win, but with a down onto Baki, we should be able to at minimum secure 4 stages, 2 Fresh, which, all things considered, Hunter, is a pretty bad result for Dark Lord.
It's not good. It does not mama the Mia, as I would say, unfortunately. But we're going to be slugging him knowing he's a Deli player with medkit in hand, and we're going to be opting to take the chase onto Sen. Probably the survivor you don't want to take chase onto. I'd rather eat the Deli, I'll be honest with you. But he's just going to be not utilizing the LNTs. He's going to opt to go for something a little bit more in his favor, eating that tag, and it's pretty smart from Sen, realizing that he's in a little bit of a predicament now, utilizing the shack with no pallet, and utilizing now this mid-9 pallet that tends to spawn is the filler pallet in between the tires with the car, and this little cheeky hee ha ha pallet that we did see Gunther go on an amazing chase against a Wesker known as Mo in the nominees. You would have seen that earlier on in the stream. But nevertheless, Sen will be going down and will be getting hooked on this 11 hook at the moment. Now, do they just take the Freshers out the door is the question for a 6-stage 2 Fresh result. And yes, they are not risking it. They know they can meet this win con. Now, what can Gospel do on the Survivor set in this regard? Would have to wait and see. I definitely think that Gospel's well capable of pulling off a 5-stage result. But at the same time, that's a tall order, as you would put it, Smonk.
It is. It's definitely scary. Unfortunately, Nefarious not just having the quick apologies, I'm chugging on my own words. Not having the quick chases you need on the Dark Lord to catch up and just finding his last. Thankfully, he did rotate away from hooking Baki, because if he did, it would have been 4 stages. And getting that 2 Fresh 6 stages, it's definitely more doable for his team. But like, especially after the Clown set, I think morale is going to be low on the side of Gospel, and we're going to see them maybe struggling a little bit on the Survivor end, because we've got to play perfectly right on the side of on the side of Gospel. You've got to play perfectly. We're going to have DS dead hard chase. We're going to have long chases. Baki also very good at the Dark Lord. From what fight I heard, I've never seen him play, but from how he plays all of those other killers, if he's a big Dark Lord enjoyer, I'd be scared if I was Gospel. They're going to be sweating bullets, and the pressure's mounting. There's a lot on their shoulders for this game, Hunter.
Yeah, definitely. And with that all being said, we're going to get the next lobby set up for you guys. So don't go anywhere. We'll be back after a quick and short intermission.
They've got to take 5 stages, but they're up against a Baki Dark Lord, which you don't want to be asking for a 5-stage result against Baki of all people. He is mean on the killer. So Gospel going to be loading in here against Baki's Dark Lord, and honestly, I'm scared for them. We see Baki opting out of Wretched Fate in favor for Call of Brine. We've seen this from him actually pretty often this season, with Call of Brine being a decent favorite on these stronger killers in place for something like Wretched Fate or Ruin, as it does offer you a good bit of information as well as just passive slowdown. And in terms of add-ons, we see the exact same ones. We see the Clockwork Gears, which I think is just like a cooldown add-on, and then Lapis Lazuli, which is the window block add-on. But we do find Cast straight off the bat here at the Fun Bus. This is actually the Broken Bus, so not the completely connected thing, but we're going to be taking chase of the cash first things first. And all that being said, this pallet is not what you want to be against the Dark Lord, because it's so thin. I think this might even just be a 2-tap with a nice little war form, and considering the first chase of this one, this is a much faster down, and not what you want if you're playing for 5 stages, Hunter.
Oh, no, 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 no. The first down within the first 30 seconds of the game is not what you need when you're chasing this kind of win con, especially with the chases that we were having last game. We're going to be taking the first hook of the trial over onto Cash, who will be hooked all the way on this top hill gen over at 3. There's not really that much generator progress in the background. I do think we'll 3-split in at some point, but nevertheless, we'll be going on a little bit of gen patrol now that we got Cash secured over at 5. And that will be him out of the game for the time being. So we're going to opt to go all the way down to 7. We see the scratch marks leading all the way down to deep 6. And we do... That survivor's a little bit zoned at the moment, not really being able to do much until we leave. And Baki now opting to kick the mid generator as well, applying the eruption as accordingly. Now, just going to be protecting this hook onto Cash. If we can tunnel him out early, nice and early on in the game, it's going to make for a nice and fluent game for us on the killer side of things. Definitely not what you want on the side of Gospel. Now, Andrew just dodging... the dog dashes 1, 2, pre-leaving all the way down to 12. Now we do see the unhook happen onto Cash, who's going to be rotating all the way down to the shack, or is he? We are following him via the sound, kind of like the spirit. Again, a good thing to note is that this might tie into it a little bit, just like with the bat form as well, just being a spirit main on the side of Baki. Could definitely utilize the same kind of game mechanics in that regard, but nevertheless, we're going to be continuing the chase, catch all the way over at this top side of the map over at 11. We're going to be utilizing the platform to catch up once more. He's going to be trying to use the long side of the truck, interrupting a generator in the process, sorry. Dodging the Hellfire as well, so having a nicer chase in the beginning of the match, but unfortunately going down. And if this isn't our DS player, which I don't think it is, because usually you'd run it on the Oh, wait, it is! I lied! Okay, that's not too bad. We see a gen proc in the background. This is what we need. We needed this. We needed the DS to come in, and I don't think that he really has much else to work with. He's just going to be going down and trying to be playing for that pallet save, but Baki's Baki's definitely really smart. He's going to know someone's around that for that smunk.
Yeah, he finds the powered save there, unfortunately, which was Mr. Drewski, but... Oh, he's in position anyway! He gets the... He doesn't even though the... What? That should have been a pound save. He was robbed. That's a highway robbery. That should have hit. I don't know why it didn't. He timed that perfectly. Andrew getting scammed a little bit and applying the pop rush to a high progress gen. Cash is close to death now, but we do have multiple high progress gens. Unfortunately, Cash was hooked right on top of one, and that really sucks for Gospel, because that power save, that's what you needed if you're Gospel. Well, you need that power save to keep Cash in the game a little bit more, and we are going to get it down to Andrew as well. Unfortunately, not botting the pallet in time, but we're also interrupting New there, rotating for the power save, and it's all coming up part for Gospel. That failed powered save maybe being the final nail in the coffin for the side of Gospel, is we're able to just camp Cash here to death, and we have our slug in the background. This is probably cranking a motor somewhere. We see New trying to apply a little bit of pressure. We might even need to go for a little bit of a double save here, but we see Andrew immediately on the motors, says rotating to assist New with a potential double save. We're trying to stop the motor from progressing as well. Sis is trying to apply a little bit of pressure here, but Baki misses the Hellfire. This is going to be able for a free save, but no, a nice body box coming in from Baki, and this might be Cash able to be dead, but it's just a bit of an awkward area, but no, Sis able to go for one-for-one trade, which is good to see. That's a bit of desperate measures coming in. I think Cash might have been able to take the BT hit, but that's okay. We get the down onto Cash, and we go for the pick immediately. So down to the Sis, and we go for a pick immediately. This might be a deadly play, but I'm not too sure. Cash is able to haul us to the other side of the map as we get a pressure because it says 2 gens with teasing high progress, but we're moving away, not going for Cash, instead we're rotating for Andrew, who is working the hill gen that's about 50% progress. We get the pop eruption proc onto it as we rotate back down to the hook. We know New's nearby this area. He's the last uninjured person in the game. As we're just trying to find whoever's starting for the hook here, as his gen is also teasing high progress. I dare say we're going to be kicking this for our eruption, but no, we don't want anyone here. Core Blind also slowly eating the generators at a little bit faster pace than they would progress normally. That's 100, so they're basically progressing 50% faster, which is what Core Blind does. But we might be seeing resets on the Cash and Andrew very shortly trying to get the head of the game, and no, we just see us on the motors. We're on 2 separate motors. We see the Sis using the deli in the background, then News on the motor, cranking it now, and honestly, we're set up for a potential 5 stage. If Gospel play perfectly here, they might get a 5 stage, but it's such a tall order, Hunter.
Yeah, it definitely is, but it's not out of the ordinary for these guys. I mean, they're all playing injured though. That's like one thing that they don't have at their disposal, even though that they're 3-splitting these generators at the moment. But it is looking a little bit dicey for Baki. He has to find his footing a little bit again at the moment, and he's going to be taking chase onto the healthy survivor, which he won't want really at this point in time. He's going to have to find someone to down nice and early, nice and quick, and that's going to have to be an injured survivor. We do see Andrew, who's going to be looping around these car filler tiles, and he's just going to have to play around the Dark Lord, and we're going for a little bit of an animation tech, knowing that somebody's around for the pallet save. Wait, okay, if they get this pallet save, they're actually back in business, but they're actually opting to go for a little bit more gen pressure. It was a fake, and Baki knew it. He's going to be hooking more towards the 5 side of the map now as well. We do see Cash Out Tunnel out, who's going to be utilizing the rock to just make as much distance as he can. I do believe that might have been balanced landing. I'm not too sure. Maybe balanced dead hard or something. I'm not too sure. But going to be taking the kick onto 4 here. That would be the 5 there. That would be the 4th stage of the trial. We just need New probably from start to death, and then we win the game. But on the side of Gospel, we need to also make sure that we're not giving free. Like, we need to be resetting number 1. I think maybe. I think this is the predicament that you run into. Is like, yeah, he knows you're going to be on a generator. He knows you're injured, and this is just going to be a quick down, unfortunately, and it's just going to spell trouble for our survivors. The dead hard being waited out as well. My God, Smonk.
It's down to the wire. My heart's pounding for Gospel. They've got a decently highly progressed gen at 12. Unfortunately, the recess does not be able to come through on time. We're at the 5 stage mark right now. We can't give a single inch. We can't afford to donate a mile. We need everyone out the doors right now. And honestly, with how mobile Dracula is and how many resources are left, we're not going to have any time to finish this generator, even if it is getting doubled. Mr. Loops as well, working this generator injured. It's got to be problems, team. We might be able to tie it up if we're lucky and redo it. Take it from the top, ladies and gentlemen, but we don't find anyone out of sight, though. But we are seeing the unhook coming through onto Sizz on the other side of the map there. We find some lingering scratch marks here. This is going to be our Tycon Mr. Loops here. He does have the sprint burst, but he has a terrible, terrible pallet to work with. You're going to be able to get a good little dog dash, maybe even a Hellfire if you want to play it safe, but he's playing it super safe here, doing a bit of a whoopsie-daisy, but unfortunately zoning Andrew away. That will be the down, and this is the Tycon Met. There is no win inside for Gospel at this point in time. The best we can do is... We get the balance save on Andrew! That's the toughest stuff we need! The balance gen's done! We need everyone out the doors! This could be the 5 gen we need! We need New to take a hit, but we need all the doors done! Lapis is literally coming through onto the shack with the block window! Andrew needs to run for his life! He's not going to be able to make the window in time! He has Hellfire up and ready! We see a hit take from New, but Hellfire is through! Andrew is down and out! This is going to be the 6th edge unless we see a magical beamer save from another thing! But no! New's not in position! The best we could do is 6 stages! We need it now to tie it all up! But we need doors open! We need everyone healthy! We need the resets right now to tie it all up, get our resets in, and redo it from the top to see if we can take the Dark Lord set again.
I don't think so, because 6 stages, 3 fresh Smonk, they win.
Oh!
They've won on fresh hooks. Oh no! Oh, that is so unfortunate for Gospel. Zetsubo pull it back from a 3-1 to a 4-3. That is crazy. My God, you can't make this shit up. It's a fairy tale story. My God.
It's a reverse sweep from Zetsubo, a fantastic grand final. Baki's nodding, he's happy with his win. It's a big congratulations to Zetsubo, our grand final champions here. Fantastic reverse sweep from them. But all things considered, Gospel played incredible as well. Just a completely insane game, all things considered. Andrew, if he dodged that Hellfire, I don't know what could have happened. It's so hard to play against the Dark Lord there. And he has so many tools at his disposal to dodge, but all things considered, a fantastic grand final. All things considered, Gospel got to keep their heads held high because that was a fantastic plays from them, all things considered, really. But Hunter, it was a pleasure casting with you tonight. Would you like to take us out and give out some awards for the grand final, maybe?
Most definitely. There's one award. There's this finals MVP, and it will go to one of the grand finalists in the trial. Okay, so I want to give a nomination though to someone who was very close to winning it. Was Sizz. Played an absolutely crazy game for Gospel, 100%, definitely deserved, definitely from that Billy game alone, just to be able to stealth out. But the MVP for the grand final will be Baki. He just played absolutely phenomenal, playing every set, playing his absolute heart out. You know, definitely the player that shined for sure. I mean, just amongst his killer performances and just that clown set alone, just absolutely crazy stuff. So well done to him. Now, with that being said, we have a few thank yous to do before we sign off for the night. To Hez, once again, thank you for streaming and watching, buddy. We know you are, and you're a legend. To everybody who's anywhere, anytime, thank you for tuning in and watching the grand finals. It's been an absolute pleasure to be able to give this to you guys to watch. I mean, I remember sitting there with everyone and making sure everything was ready to go and doing the whole rebound and the rebrand and the rebound that we came from earlier on in the season. It's hard to believe that it's over, you know? I mean, all things considered, I really enjoyed every second of it, and we'll be back for season 4, so please stay tuned for that. Anyway, thank you so much for being here. To the competitors as well. You all played very, very well, even the people who were just there to be subbed in. Nevertheless, moving on very last. I completely forgot what I was gonna say, but stay tuned. Make sure to follow all of the socials, ! Discord, ! Well, we don't have any for the Twitter, the YouTube, or the TikTok or Instagram. Lastly, to the staff, thank you for all your hard work and efforts throughout this season. It wouldn't be able to be done without you. As much as the competitors are great, guys, without the people behind the scenes, none of this would be possible. So please make sure you recognize them also. Good night. Have a good rest of your night. Thank you for an amazing season. We'll be right back after a quick and short break.